I heard your music. I thought you were in the car right now.
No, I was doing a live stream.
Oh, you doing the stream now?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and handle your business, son. I'll holler back at you. Thank you for calling me. I appreciate it.
I love you, Dad. Merry Christmas.
I love you too. I'm glad you think of me now.
All the time.
It makes me very proud to know that you think of me. You know what I mean? I brag about my kids all the time, you know, because black kids, they don't go very far in life. And I'm glad you guys did good in life. You ain't on drugs. You ain't in jail. You ain't been to prison. I said I must have did something right.
You did.
I used to question myself. I used to tell myself all the time, when Teresa left, I must not be a very good man. My kids left me. I can't keep a woman. I mean, what am I doing wrong? I must be doing something. I need to reassess myself. I went and got counseling now, so I can do better. I said I must be a better man than what I am.
No, you're the best man I know, Dad. I'm extremely blessed and thankful to have you as my father.
Well, thank you, son. I appreciate that.
I love you.
I was hurt. I used to cry at night. Seriously, I'd go to work, come home, and I'd just cry. What kind of man can't keep a woman, Even if she do drugs, you can't even keep a drug addict. That's what I used to tell myself. And Teresa got up and she acted out. I said, but you were acting that you were doing wrong in the first place. You were always hanging out with somebody, these guys, doing all kind of stuff. Talking about you work with him and all that stuff, but then you wasn't doing no work. You wasn't working with them. You just wasn't no good.
Right.
So, But now I'm doing better.
I could tell.
I fight with this one a lot. When you fight, we just, you know how I am.
Me too. I'm the same way.
But she, I've been with her for 23 years or so.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I tell her all the time, you're the best woman I ever had, because I can never be with a woman over 12 years.
She made it.
It's the truth. It's the truth, man.
She made it. She made it.
All right, so thank you guys. Tell you what I said. Thank you for calling. You guys have a good day.
You too, Dad. I love you.
Did you talk to your brother today?
No, I haven't talked to him.
You should call him and say hi to him.
Okay.
He was still kind of stressing the other day when I called, so I called and talked to him.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so I love you.
I love you too.
All right, bye.
Just the way players play. Leave it up to me, I get fucked all day. Fucked all day, smoking blunts, counting cheese, fucking bitches till the assholes bleed. What you say, baby? She bag bitches from barbecues to bar mitzvahs. The dick don't fit, use your lips cut. I'm feeling kinda itchy for a quickie. Don't take off your coat, all you got to do is lick me. We eat you, I beat you. Then grease you to the door, bitch. Cause I don't love you no more. Which one of these hoes in the lobby wanna stop me? You know me, I like my dick brown like Bobby. When the dude shoot, then the bitch gets the boot. Unless you lick ass and blow dicks like floats. I like them cute round chicks and fat asses. Educated, so I can bust up on their glasses. I wanna come on your tongue and gums all night. The bitch drink nuts by the pipe. Check it out, check it out now.
Cookie soul.
Today's agenda, got the suitcase up in the central. Go to room 112, tell them Loco sent you. Being the strangers, if no money exchanges. I got these kids and rangers to leave them niggas brainless. All they told is stainless, you just remain as calm as possible. Make the deal go through, if not,
Yeah, peace.
shots, we know how you do.
What's up, bro? Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Xmas to you too, man.
You sound like my dad, man. He said, I said, Merry Christmas. He said, you know how I feel about that shit, son. He didn't say nothing bad. Oh, man.
I caught that last part, man, where you were talking to your dad.
Yeah.
And your dad just dropped some knowledge, man, on how he was feeling bad. But it wasn't his fault.
No.
It wasn't his fault. She could have never been satisfied at that table. She never had a plate.
Man, Santa Claus. And he could never, and that he's sad because he thought, like Will Smith, he thought he could do it. He thought he could do it for her.
That love is enough.
Yeah, he thought he could do it for her. That love is a say that, man. He thought that it was enough. Me too, bro.
But the thing is, nobody changes unless they want to. Nobody does anything unless they want to. Even when they don't want to, they're only doing it because they want to.
Right? Even when you don't want to, it's because you want to.
Yeah. When you raise your arm, it's because you want to, even if you got a gun to your head.
Man.
You have to execute it yourself. It's not the gun being pointed at you that lifts your arm. You're the one who lifts the arm. You made that choice.
Wrong. I don't want to be right. Yeah, man. I think everything is touching everybody, even me, like when my dad talked to me about it, he's like, that's my first love, and you my first son, you my first child.
Mm-hmm.
So he has him contemplating and sharing with me some of his thoughts. Like, you know, as a man, you wonder why.
And as he said, you know how I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, and people will think, you know, from hearing stories about him that he's a hard man. He's a strict, unfeeling man. No man is unfeeling without emotions.
No.
He's a very loving man. Even with all that happened over all of those years, he still felt something.
To this day.
To this day.
And like you say, sometimes even when you don't want to, I can tell. Even when you don't, because you know you might feel like this person don't deserve the care and concern. Hey, baby.
You woke up. Live?
Yeah. Talking to Santa Claus.
What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Nothing.
The North Africans in the house.
Hey. Yes, at least somebody know I ain't white. That's so funny. Happy holidays.
And happy holidays to you too. Perfect. What you end up making, man?
Today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had breakfast for dinner. A big old breakfast though.
Yeah, I can't blame y'all. I ended up having a very simple affair.
Well, yesterday we had a big old thing of crab though.
Oh yeah, we had crab yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't vegetarian friendly though.
What you have?
Mixed up.
It was chicken thighs
Ooh.
and Boston butt.
And Boston butt. I knew it was mixed up.
You take the back of the spoon and you press it against the butt, and it just falls apart, almost as if it were pulled pork.
You made it yourself, slow roasted it, or you picked it up?
Oh, I made it myself.
Wow.
I'm too cheap. Perfect. I'm cheap.
Right.
And I did make some broccoli, but like I said before, it's not vegetarian friendly.
What's in the broccoli?
I got some ends and pieces.
Oh.
Are you familiar with ends and pieces?
Yeah.
For people out there, ends and pieces are basically when they make bacon and they got pieces that are either too small, too thick, or what have you. They put it in a package.
You gotta show them your cup. I got you, baby. Here.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be mad.
So I grabbed some of that, put it in a wok. I also grabbed some sesame oils, smoked sesame oil,
Oh, we talked
some
about
chili oil, the secret ingredient, some MSG.
that. The
Oh,
image.
a little bit of Himalayan salt, and I stir fried that in a little tiny bit of that smoked bacon grease. It was delicious.
That's
That sounds hella
because
good.
we had Binky got some beef and broccoli the other day. I cheated and I stole some of the broccoli. It had some beef juice on there. I shouldn't have had that, but
Look at
Well, you know you wanted it. Don't act like it.
So,
just,
baby,
just a little bit.
Everybody going over later. I'm like, I wasn't planning on it.
I thought they were gonna come over here.
That's what I said. They said we didn't call them when breakfast was in. I said, well, it was really dinner. So
They gonna leave. You gonna leave me by myself?
Yeah, peace, Art.
Oh, what's up, Art? How you doing, bro?
she asked me what I was
You know,
gonna
Art
say.
had a good panel. I was gonna get on the panel. Art, is there like a link in the back? I look for the link in the description, or do you have to have a certain
Don't
link?
mess with Daddy's shoes.
But I was over there listening to Art panel. It was a good panel, and I'm listening. Was asking me to join the panel, and I was like, I'll join. I don't mind joining the panel. It was a good conversation. Sometimes, you know. Sometimes it get like you get WWF Art, let it get a little, you know.
Say Merry Christmas.
But you know, ever since the man and Charles they became good friends. Hey, what's up?
Say Merry Christmas.
Say Merry
Well,
Christmas.
I'm on the other side.
There she go.
Say Merry Christmas. Say
Merry
hi.
Christmas.
Aria, say hi.
Hey.
Hello.
She's so cute. Brother, you want to say hi?
You know, I had a video. We doing a mix right now, but I do have a video in relation to.
This ice still.
It's still on the flow.
Yeah, man, it was real cold outside, man.
Is
It was
it cold?
70 degrees.
Okay,
And
Hey,
right now
baby,
it's
you hear that?
60.
You hear that, baby? You hear that, baby? It's been raining for how many days? 3 days straight. It's freezing. I got a wet, funky dog in the house, man. Gotta walk the dog in the rain. Oh man.
That's why I said, let's
70.
Yeah, it was almost muggy.
70 degrees.
Kids can't even ride their rides in the house.
Now, this is how people get sick, man. You get these cold days and then you get these balmy days.
I got a video. So Art, they go Art Tuesdays and Fridays is usually structured, and I send the link via email. When it gets slow, then I put the link in the chat. Okay, that's what I thought, because I know like Roger could to mitigate the trolls. He had put the link in a different way, but usually I sent the link to people when they request by email. But certain people that's on some BS make them wait until things slow down, so they will not be disruptive. Understood. Well, I would love if you could send Sunclaw and I the link. I can if you want to put your email. I don't know if you have an email you could put in the chat, and then I can send you an email, and you could if you don't mind. That way, whenever we have the opportunity, we could join the panel. Because I don't want I'm listening to think that I was avoiding the request to join Art New Styles panel, because there was a great conversation. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show a video, and me and Sunclaw, we're going to talk, because I think the conversation that was on the panel last night is building on the conversation that Sunclaw and I started and the conversation Suncline and I started that you may have already heard is about the conversation about what do you bring to the table. And Suncline and I, after discussing it, we came up with, for us, the only answer is you bring your own plate. So when there's a whole more explanation behind, it's not just as simple as you bring your own plate. But if you think about the concept of it, and then the question of what do you bring to the table, and the table bringing the relationship, and the things we've heard a lot in the past about, I am the table and this and that. Hey, Rose Gold, Merry Christmas. I'm the man. Happy holidays. Perfect time of podcast. Bay love. Oh, there go the email right there. So I'm gonna email you, Art, and get that link. So when I said, what do you bring to the table? And me and Sunclaw said, I bring my own plate. So when I say I bring my own plate, and this is in response to when we watched the apology video, when I say in a relationship, if the table is a relationship and the only answer can be I bring my own plate. So what do I mean by I bring my own plate? What do I mean is, in order for us to have a healthy existence, in order for us to have a healthy coupling, a healthy relationship, each of us have to come together as complete people. So when you look at that apology from the Black woman, and then when my mind works, where I bring in different things and different ideas together. So as I'm bringing in the apology from the Black woman, I'm also thinking about what Will Smith explained to us, what took place with Jada Pinkett. And when he explained what happened with Jada Pinkett and how he said you can pour into a person, and if that person's cup has a hole in the bottom, all of your efforts is simply pour out. And what he said to Jada is, Jada, you need to leave and become a complete person. Jada, I can't make you happy. But Will didn't learn this after he spent millions of dollars on her 40th birthday. After Will Smith spent millions of dollars on her 40th birthday, he realized that I can't make your plate. Jada, I can't make your plate. Jada, you have to come to the relationship complete. You have to come to the relationship happy, complete with your own spirituality, your own concepts of God, your own understandings of relationship, your own understandings of diet. All these things have to be complete, i.e., you have to know how to make your own plate. And the 4 basic food groups, like we grew up in the 70s, so some of the kids didn't grow up learning about the 4 basic food groups and learning how to make a nutritious plate. Sometimes you come into the table with all junk food, all candy, and the relationship sputters out. You're unable to dig deep roots. You understand what I'm saying? So when the question is, what do you bring to the table? There's only one answer. Each individual, and it's regardless of sex, gender, or age, you must be able to bring a complete plate. Because without you bringing a complete plate, we're unable to have a complete meal. And the thing that me and Sunclaw realized as we started to expound on it, Sunclaw said, like, my baby is crying. When we're having this conversation and we're having this inability to enjoy this meal, our children are there. As we're arguing with the waiter and we can't complete our order, we're unable to eat, our children are not eating. If we just order junk food, our children are eating junk food. Another thing is occurring. While we are going through this battle of the sexes, we are not alone. We are in a restaurant. There are other people enjoying their meal, able to come as complete individuals to the table and have what we call a relationship, a marriage, a life, a family. You see what I'm saying? So when you say to yourself, what is it that you bring to the table? There's only one answer. All I need you to do is is to bring a complete plate. And I bring a complete plate, a balanced, nutritious meal. You bring a balanced, nutritious meal. I bring a balanced, nutritious meal, meaning I'm able to nourish myself before I meet you, before we have this seat. I am complete. I am fully able to nourish myself. I know what it takes to nourish me, so I can teach you. I know my love language, so I can teach you. You know what it is to nourish you. When the Black woman was apologizing, what she was saying is, yes, brother, as a Black woman, I am at the table with a complete plate. And up until now, I have not recognized your inability to prepare your plate. I have been sitting at the table upset at you because you will not come eat dinner with me. You will not come enjoy this meal with me.
But in a sense, too, what she was saying, her plate was also missing.
Correct.
And she really didn't realize how jacked up she was until she started fixing herself. And still, until that bottomless plate that she had that had a hole in the bottom, she was putting things in it, but it was never full. Everything that she put on it was falling out until she got herself straight. She couldn't see what was happening, what was going on around her. She couldn't recognize the problems that the person across the table from her was having.
She actually said that after a while, she came to recognize, but she continued to inflict pain and allow pain to be inflicted because of her own pain. And that made me feel like a symbiotic relationship had occurred, because we do the same thing. We're in these same spaces, and our trauma, we continue to inflict pain, and we, even last night, black women, we continue to inflict pain on black women because of our trauma, even though we know that they may be coming back apologizing, but we still have residual. We still have residual trauma in effect. So we're not done with our pain. Nameless says this a lot. We're not done working through our pain. So even though the sisters want to have a conversation about apology and reprisal and reciprocity, we're not prepared, because we haven't been preparing ourselves in these spaces. We've been wallowing in the mud. We're happy in our anger. We're high-fiving. Hey, did you hear me call her a strag? Hey, did you hear me call her out of her name? Hey, high five. High five, I yelled at another woman. High five, I clowned a woman on the panel. We're high-fiving each other like children for yelling at. This is not preparing us for when someone who was supposed to be our rib, our support system, comes back, and they are apologetic, but they may not be like a child sometimes. They may not be upfront with their apology. They may not be open, but they want to have a conversation. And we are so stuck in our trauma that we want to go through our hurt first. Let's accept the conversation wherever it is. And I feel blessed that we talking, because I remember, if all of us remember 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, whatever you want to call it, there hasn't always been a conversation. I want us to see the blessing in that. There hasn't always been a conversation. And last night, what was so impressive about Art's panel, which I love why he's protective of the panel, Son Claude, it was a great panel. The brothers had some great conversation. I'm sure the sisters in the chat were very pleased, and everybody was able to grow and benefit from the topic. And Art has been influential. I remember Art was doing the conversation on the weaves and the hair, and some of it got, a little bit lively. But look at how, if you go back to some, and even recently, someone that brought up the hair, and Art said, "Oh, you don't remember my hair panels. You haven't seen my weave panels." And this person obviously hadn't seen all of the work Art had done on the weaves and the hair for black women. And now look at where we are with the conversation. Look at where we've come with the conversation. And I'm just so blessed and pleased that we're making progress. And and despite, like Sunco has pointed out, there are people who make money off the lack of progress. I call it a race to the bottom or a race to the bonnet. But there are people who make money off of our lack of progress. There are people who make money off of our lack of being complete people, of making complete plates, of learning how to nourish ourselves. There are people who profit off of our inability to come together and have a conversation. Us men being the bigger person. There are people who profit off of you being small-minded little boys. There are people who make money and keep telling you to be a small-minded little boy instead of being a bigger person. Who should be the bigger person? Should she be the bigger person, or you as the man? This is what Jay Sean has said. This is what a lot of men in this space have said, but you have rejected. They haven't said that you aren't hurt. They haven't said that they are wrong. They just said, who's going to be the bigger person? And you the man. I know it hurt to hear that. But I got a video, and this is a video that builds on the conversation that Art was having last night and the conversation that we had about what do you bring to the table. And we could do this real quick, and then we could get back into the Christmas vibe. And I got shout out Cam Rob. Can't tell Coffee Nino come through because I got MF Doom Christmas. I got MF Doom Christmas loaded up. So I got Biggie Smalls Christmas. I got MF Doom Christmas. I got Wu-Tang Christmas. So y'all let me know where y'all want to go with it. And so I pulled up MF Doom Christmas because my brother Coffee Nino, he loved MF Doom. So I already knew I was going to do a Christmas stream just so I could play the MF Doom Christmas album for my brother Coffee Nino because I love my brother and I love real hip hop. So I just want to fuck his head up with the fact that I know about the MF Doom Christmas album. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't know about the MF Doom Christmas album. I know about
the true meaning of this joyous season through the unique perspective and magical wordplay of America's most beloved rap singer. It's Christmas with Doom.
Oh no, we're doomed. This will be the worst Christmas play ever.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's it. That's all I'm gonna give. Christmas with Doom, MF Doom Christmas, man. Merry Christmas, Coffee, Merry Christmas, Cam, Merry Christmas, Art, Merry Christmas, whole 5.0, Son Claw, my brother. Let's get into this video and we can break it down, man. Some more about this. It's coming together in 2022. It's not gonna be cool no more. BMT has already said the young brothers are coming into space. They have already said it's not cool to talk about black women. So if you want to have this conversation, if we're going to work it out, we're going to work it out, or we're going to talk about something else. Me and Sunclaw have been on a mission to focus on men, to be selfish, to make ourselves better people. And guess what has happened? Beautiful women keep flooding my chat. I don't even know where they coming from. But you know what one beautiful sister said? Girl behind the mic. Merry Christmas, girl behind the mic. She said, like attracts like. I'm going to say that 2 more times. She said, like attracts like. I've been teaching my brothers to focus on themselves to become attractive, to become ultimately selfish, to be proactive, find your gift, and be proactive with giving that gift. And that like will attract like. That's what's happening in the chat. That's what's happening with the Perfect Timing Podcast. The same thing can happen for you. What you got on that, Son Claw?
You're going to go somewhere. You're going to buy something. You're going to buy a car. And you're going to buy your experiences of all the cars you have seen. And you end up buying a clapped out piece of junk because all the cars you have ever seen in your life are clapped out pieces of junk. And you ask yourself, why is this car always breaking down? Well, it must be normal because my daddy's car always broke down. My mama's car always broke down. My cousin's car always broke down. So this must be normal. This is what I should be expecting from a car.
Wow.
This is what I should allow from a car when I go buy a car. It must have rust. It must have issues and it must have problems. But then you start noticing, hey, in other places, people ain't got these problems that I'm having with cars. Then you got to think about, why is it that my mama, my daddy, my cousins, everybody is driving around in a clapped out car? Maybe they haven't realized it either. But then when you start to realize what you need to be expecting from your car, the next time you go looking for a car, you expect better. You cannot get better if you do not expect better. You cannot get better quality food if you do not expect better quality food.
And that's not gender specific. That's not gender specific. Listen, everybody.
And I'm not talking about money. You think, oh, I'm tired of broke niggas. I'm tired of money grubbing women. I expect better. I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about weight or any of that. Treatment. How's a person treating you? Are they treating you like trash and you're accepting that? Yeah, she treats me like shit, but she got a big ass. Fuck that.
You worth more. You must be. You gotta be.
He treats me like trash, but have you seen those abs that he's got? Fuck that. Don't you want to be happy? Why does life always gotta be some kind of fucking struggle?
Man.
You know what? She treats me like gold. She got a flat booty, but man, she is a joy to be around. Hey, you know that dude with that gut? Yeah, he might not have a six pack, but he treats you like a human being. Imagine that. You enjoy spending time with him and his big old gut, but he treats you like a human being. It feels good to be around him. You don't feel like shit. You're not being treated like shit. You never deserved to be treated like shit.
You deserve what you accept.
That's true. You deserve exactly what you expect, what you accepted. Hey, the drive-through, you know, before you pull off from the drive-through, you need to open up that bag and unwrap that sandwich. Make sure that they got your order right. Once you've gotten home, you know, you don't want to be driving no 15 miles back to that drive-through. You don't want to be driving that 5 miles back because you didn't get your order right. You want to make sure that you got exactly what you expected to get. We do that in everything else in life, but we don't do that with relationships. You ain't gonna check what you're getting. And what do you do, Perfect? What do you do when they got your order wrong?
Well, it depends on where you are in this spectrum, right?
Do you just accept it?
I think, and I mean, if you look at the views, I think yes. I mean, it's easy for us to sound like a lot of the other crass, you know, contrived.
It's not easy. These things are not easy.
No, I'm saying it's easy for us to make up some bullshit like other YouTubers and try to sound cool. But if I'm being honest about the way my teachings are received, I'm gonna say most people would eat the meal. They would eat the cold, nasty burger with spit on it. And they've been eating it every day, and they will continue to eat it. And they will eat it to the point where they pissed off at us for even highlighting the fact that you eating a rotten fucking burger. It's the same thing with Who Moved My Cheese.
But that's the only thing they got.
When Ha came back and told him, hey, that cheese is moldy. That cheese is bad. You know it's bad. I know it's bad. We've been eating moldy cheese. I found new cheese. Ha gave him new cheese. Guess what him said? Now, it made me think about the Negro experience. And I want to say, Son Claw, that no, you would take the food back. You would make them remake your food, right? Right? No. My experience has been that when you bring back adequate cheese that is not moldy, they refuse it. That's what my dad was sad about. That's what I'm sad about with my mom. And that's why you came on and said nothing, you couldn't have changed that. She was going to want moldy cheese. You can't make someone who likes moldy cheese not want them. No matter what Ha said, Ha finally left him when Ha realized that him was sick and that nothing I could do could complete this person. They need to be able to make their own plate. And if this person wants to eat junk food or moldy cheese, then I can't do nothing for him anymore. I got to go find my new heaven. I got to find my new cheese. And there's a lot of people that would eat the shitty meal, Son Claw. I think that's what this whole space is about. That we have grown accustomed to eating the shitty meal, the moldy cheese. That should have more views. That concept should be rediscussed over and over. That black men have not realized who moved my cheese. The apology, the video I'm about to play, the whole concept is black men. At the end of her apology, she's trying to get you to understand that someone has moved your cheese. But there's cheese, brother. There's cheese. It's like, do you want the strag? Do you want the hood rat? Because that's all you talk about. That's all you're fixated on. The black woman's apology is saying to you that there is cheese. Yes, you might have to run for it. Yes, you might have to search low and high. It may take you some motherfucking time, but there is cheese. BMT is saying, the young black males are saying, there is cheese. Stop telling me about the moldy cheese. I see the moldy cheese. I know there's moldy cheese. There is cheese. Tell me how to get to the cheese. And we so traumatized we don't get it. That someone has moved our cheese.
You know, I had said perfect that.
More views on that.
That certain channels, they have their place in the identification of what is not acceptable. Okay. You can talk about the women with problems. Okay, you're letting me know that those are things that are unacceptable. But how do we move to finding those that are acceptable?
Who moved my cheese? How do we move to those who are acceptable for those young men who want to date black women? And do we continue to deter them away from what they prefer and desire? Or we be honest and say, I may not know how to help you to obtain that woman because I was never successful. See, that's what the young black male is figuring out, like what the young black female is figuring out. You can't tell me how to find her and get her because you don't know. You just don't know, and you won't be honest. You won't be honest. You rather just poo-poo the whole mission. You rather poo-poo the whole mission. On both sides, it's not gender specific. The grandmother is doing this and the grandfather is doing this. You rather poo-poo the whole mission because you don't know the answer. Because you couldn't figure it out. Well, guess what? We want to figure it out. We want to love each other. And instead of helping them, we want to get in the way. I say, let's get out the way, Son Claw. BMT is saying, get out the way. The young black brothers on YouTube are saying, get out the way so we can figure it out. So I can figure it out what she needs. So I can figure out what happened, how she got hurt. So she can figure out for me what happened, how I got hurt. So I can go make a complete plate. So she can go make a complete plate because we want to have a slice out of life. We don't want to fight. We don't want to do what y'all did. It's futile. Let's show this video because it's going to show the generational differences that I'm talking about right here. I'm going to show the video and then you can see what I'm talking about with the generational differences and the two different voices. The two very different voices that we have in the two different generations. The two very different voices. When you hear BMT, I know some of the older black men in the space may not understand where BMT is coming from. But it's a very simple thing for me. BMT is coming from a place where they want to be with black women and they love black women. And they're saying if you are older black men and you can't help me accomplish that goal, get out of my way. Get out of my way. I respect that. I got so much respect for that. If you can't help them accomplish that goal, get out of their way. Don't poo-poo the mission. Perfect timing. We helping them execute the mission. That was my goal from the male progressive. That was my goal from the male progressive. Let's get into this video.
More. No, women don't submit to you. Women No, women don't submit to you. Women are natural to submission. I don't care how strong and independent she is. So here's the disconnect. Are you looking for forced submission? So ask yourself, why won't she really submit? Here it is. Women are not their grandparents anymore, okay? Women are not looking for a husband and to become a housewife and to bear children. No, they're not looking for that anymore. A lot of women come from a split home with a double Dutch dad who jumps in and out of their lives as he chooses. And that's where the fear and discord between men and women come from. That ideal or that example, that is what they seen. So why won't she submit? You got time? Do you display wise leadership? Do you give a good sense of direction?
What's up, y'all? First things first, shout out to the sister. I actually like her content. She pretty cool, so y'all go follow her. Secondly, I disagree. Now, she says submission is natural to women. Totally agree. But if that's the case, a woman in her feminine would be submissive at all times. Even if she's with a man she feels cannot lead her. And see, that is the main issue with modern women. I like how you threw that term in there, double Dutch daddy. I never heard that. I may have to steal that. It's kind of funny. But that has truth to it. There are a lot of women, specifically black women, who grew up with fathers like that. However, we cannot forget the other half of that, which is our strong, independent mothers, who we were consistently around and told us all the time, your daddy ain't shit. You don't need no man. You don't need no man, including your double Dutch daddy. And your double Dutch brothers too, because they ain't shit just like your daddy. So we can't ignore that other half of programming, because that bred a lot of distrust as well. And let's be real, your mother is supposed to show you how to act in a relationship. So if your father wasn't there, regardless of the reasoning, your mother never got remarried or had some sort of male figure there to show you how to submit to a man, you never really knew. So no, we are not our grandparents, especially our grandmothers, because they prioritize family, community, and motherhood. While we, on the other hand, are prioritizing career, a bag, and manipulate niggas. Can't just wake up one day and decide to be submissive. I don't know why so many modern women have this thought in their head like they can just turn that shit on one day. Like, no, if you haven't submitted in any relationship you've been in, your next one, you're probably not going to do that. And what makes you think that you're going to attract a man that you can submit to if you have never submitted to one before? At a certain point, you have to look in the mirror, because that is in your natural role anyways. It shouldn't be hard for you to submit, regardless of the man. And to be honest, when you are more submissive, it pushes men further into their masculine. They want to provide more for you. They want to protect you. They want to fight for you. They want to build for you when they see that you're vulnerable. But we want to remain in these masculine roles, and yet at the same time have our men do that for us as well. Like, let's just get this straight. A lot of the times when these women say that they're not leading correctly or a man isn't protecting correctly, it's because you feel like he's not. That's because you have been doing it for yourself. So of course he's not going to do it like you, because he's not a woman. He's a man, and you just got to choose better.
This is Agent Bill Hagmeyer.
This goes back to the table conversation. Perfect.
Yeah, I thought that you might like
it. If your parents in their relationship on their table, on their family table, because that's really what the table is. Your parents eat from it, and you eat from it as well. If they had Fruit Loops, candy canes, and Snickers on that table, that was all there was to eat. Yeah, that's what you expect to find at the table. Fruit Loops, candy canes, and Snickers bars. That ain't nutritious. That's not nutritious. Men see things. I see things. When I go out on a date, or when I talk to women, I listen. I listen to what they say, what they don't say, how they behave. If I see just an ounce of manipulation, this is over. This can't go nowhere, and it's not going to go anywhere. In fact, I probably don't even want to see you again. But I can be submissive. I can turn that on on a flip of a switch. I listen. When you talk, I listen. I was on a date with somebody, and they told me, well, I'm 30 whatever years old, and I'm getting on in age, and I'm looking to have kids. And we were sitting at this booth style restaurant, right? And on the other side of the booth, or on the other side of this divider, that was dividing our table from the next table over, there was a small child. And the small child grabbed the paper that is usually used to wrap the straws, right? The child grabbed that piece of paper and the child threw it over the barrier that divided the booths. And she said, "That's why I hate kids." I listened to her. I listened to when she originally had said that she is looking to have children. I also listened to her when she said, "That's why I hate kids." There was no second date. I listened to her. I listened to what she said and how she moved.
The video was looping, son called. I'm gonna play it again, see if I can get a better quality.
No, it sounded good.
It sounded good on your end when Binky,
Yeah.
when Binky just played it back. I heard it. It was sounded bad. It was like looping.
No, I would have muted you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when I just heard it play back on her phone, it didn't sound good.
But in case of flies, let's play it again. Because some people need a little bit of repetition. Let's play it again.
Okay, and then I'm a mute up. Tell me how it sounds.
Women don't submit anymore. No, women don't submit to you. Women are natural to submission. I don't care how strong and independent she is. So here's the disconnect. Are you looking for forced submission? So ask yourself, why won't she really submit? Here it is. Women are not their grandparents anymore, okay? Women are not looking for a husband and to become a housewife and to bear children. No, they're not looking for that anymore. A lot of women come from a split home with a double Dutch dad who jumps in and out of their lives as he chooses. And that's where the fear and discord between men and women come from. That ideal or that example, that is what they seen. So why won't she submit? You got time? Do you display wise leadership? Do you give a good sense of direction?
What's up, y'all? First things first, shout out to the sister. I actually like her content. She pretty cool, so y'all go follow her. Secondly, I disagree. Now, she says submission is natural to women. Totally agree. But if that's the case, a woman in her feminine would be submissive at all times. Even if she's with a man she feels cannot lead her. And see, that is the main issue with modern women. I like how you threw that term in there, double Dutch daddies. I never heard that. I may have to steal that. It's kind of funny. But that has truth to it. There are a lot of women, specifically black women, who grew up with fathers like that. However, we cannot forget the other half of that, which is our strong, independent mothers, who we were consistently around and told us all the time, your daddy ain't shit. You don't need no man. You don't need no man, including your double Dutch daddy. And your double Dutch brothers too, because they ain't shit just like your daddy. So we can't ignore that other half of programming, because that bred a lot of distrust as well. And let's be real, your mother is supposed to show you how to act in a relationship. So if your father wasn't there, regardless of the reasoning, your mother never got remarried or had some sort of male figure there to show you how to submit to a man, you never really knew. So no, we are not our grandparents, especially our grandmothers, because they prioritize family, community, and motherhood. While we, on the other hand, are prioritizing career, a bag, and manipulate niggas. Can't just wake up one day and decide to be submissive. I don't know why so many modern women have this thought in their head like they could just turn that shit on one day. Like, no, if you haven't submitted in any relationship you've been in, your next one, you're probably not going to do that. And what makes you think that you're going to attract a man that you can submit to if you have never submitted to one before? At a certain point, you have to look in the mirror because that is in your natural role anyways. It shouldn't be hard for you to submit, regardless of the man. And to be honest, when you are more submissive, it pushes men further into their masculine. They want to provide more for you. They want to protect you. They want to fight for you. They want to build for you when they see that you're vulnerable. But we want to remain in these masculine roles and yet at the same time have our men do that for us as well. Like, let's just get this straight. A lot of the times when these women say that they're not leading correctly or a man isn't protecting correctly, it's because you feel like he's not. That's because you have been doing it for yourself. So of course he's not going to do it like you because he's not a woman. He's a man and you just got to choose better.
You're perfect. You're muted.
Okay, we back. So I think that sounded a lot better.
You know what? Thank you for playing that again.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
I caught some more things also. Yeah.
The first young lady who was talking about men don't want to submit, women don't want to submit to you. Women are submissive by nature. Women are not trying to be mothers. There are certain things that we need to agree on. If I go to a car dealership to buy a car, for example, and they're trying to sell me a coffee maker, we're going to have issues here. I did not come here to buy a coffee maker. I came here to buy a car. How can a woman say, yeah, we're not like our grandmothers. We ain't trying to be wives and mothers and this, that, and the other. Why should I have a relationship with you? Why should I spend my hard-earned money at this dealership if when I come here to buy a car, you are trying to sell me a coffee maker? Yeah, but this coffee maker right here, it has all these features. It can make cappuccinos, frappuccinos, any kind of chinos you can think of, this thing can make.
It slices, it dices, it ginzu.
But I need a car. But this coffee maker is so much better than a car.
It blends.
Think of all the money you'll save. Not having to buy things from Starbucks. I don't even buy things from Starbucks because I don't have a car. I came here to buy a damn car.
Oh, you must be thick in the head. You don't know a good deal when you see one. I can't talk to you anymore.
Pay attention to what she said. You see, if you were sitting across the dinner table from her, you would be thinking, look at those lips. As she's talking, you're not even listening to what that young lady is saying. Look at those lips. Look at those hips. Look at those beep. It rhymes. It rhymes. Trust me, it rhymes. And you ain't listening to what the words mean. The words that are coming out of her mouth mean. If you did, you wouldn't mess with her. That's also another issue that we're having here. People are telling you what they're here for, and you are not listening to them. You're at that dealership and you're saying, yes, 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 I want a car. And they're selling you a coffee maker and you're nodding your head. You're nodding your head at them because they look good. But you know, they don't have what you want. They don't have what you need. They don't have what you came here for. You're here to buy a car And this is supposedly a car dealership, and they trying to sell you a coffee maker.
You know what? SunClaw realized this. Like she said, perfect. You're not a YouTuber. Kind of hurt my feelings, but if you look at my reaction, the way people receive the message, people we trying to sell them a car, and they don't want a car. You know what I mean? I'm trying to convince them, you know what I mean, that it's more efficient, you know, it's more beneficial. But you know, that's the whole thing with Grandmaster Troll. What I was saying, the past the $40, like Grandmaster Troll made $200 in 2 hours. Grandmaster Troll was profitable. Grandmaster Troll was monetized. You know, Grandmaster Troll is making money paying bills off of YouTube, off the internet. Like,
and don't you have to have like a certain amount of users or views in order to be able to receive money in the chat?
yes. How can someone say Grandmaster Troll is doing it incorrectly who's not being paid?
He's selling them what they want.
Hello! I'm just trying to illuminate my brother. My brother is so intelligent with a great voice and tone. Grandmaster Troll is not doing anything wrong. Adversely, you know who's doing it wrong, SunClaw? We doing it fucking wrong. I'm doing it wrong. I'm trying to sell you nourishing fucking balanced food groups. You ain't even heard of a fucking balanced meal for basic new balanced groups. Shit. No, Grandmaster Troll is doing it correctly. Grandmaster Troll is doing it correctly. Hey, sorry. And everybody who disagree with Grandmaster Troll is full of shit. You tell him I said it. You send them over here and I'll roast their ass and I'll out-debate any motherfucker.
Yeah, he's giving them what they want.
He's
giving them what they want.
It's in the pudding. The numbers, the motherfucking numbers. Don't anybody who has something to say about Grandmaster Troll who's not making $200 an hour, shut the fuck up. You don't understand the internet. You don't understand business. That's why you black people are not successful in business. Business is dog eat dog, kill or be killed. And the rule of the day is catching bodies. It's called cancel culture. And you know what black men have been doing, and I've been saying for 6 fucking months? Stop whining about cancel culture and start participating in cancel culture. Stop whining about cancel culture and start participating in cancel culture. Stop being the fucking food. Why do we complain about the fucking food chain? As if we can change the Matrix just came out. Everybody has done some asshole reviews of the Matrix. Y'all want to hear my review of the Matrix? It fucking sucked. I'm not going to do no deep dive, esoteric review of a shitty fucking movie. It was fucking horrible. You know why it sucked? Because
cash grab?
It's a cash grab, but the movie sucked because the black woman actually did write the movie. And she wrote all of those great movies from that era. And they can't reproduce the movies without her. So what did they do without her? The motherfuckers who stole the movie let their wife make the movie. And they turn the movie into some social justice bullshit. NPH, what's his name? Keanu Reeves should be fucking ashamed of himself. And you want to qualify it? Fucking Jada Pinkett was a star in the fucking movie. Nobody asked Jada Pinkett with the horrible makeup. 25 minutes in, they had a fucking montage. A Rocky Sylvester Stallone style montage in Matrix 4? Shitty.
They got the wrong type of movie, man. You can't put that's not a montage movie.
A montage 25 minutes in because they couldn't tell a story. The story never developed. Do you know why? Because they never wrote the original story. They didn't get the concept from her dream, the third eye, from the black woman. You don't have that experience. You don't have that DNA. You don't have that connection to the stars. She was programming what's coming next. You don't know. You lifeless. You don't get it. And you turned it into slop. Slop. You got a dead woman at the end flying in the air just to show this feminism bullshit. Trinity died. You bring back a dead woman and you make her. It was the most horrible, horrific story. The only thing that was so great about the movie from the perfect perspective is it illuminates the fact that they never wrote the first movies. That black woman was an empath. And they tried to kill her. Oh, no, let's talk about, and Brother Sanchez, you did a great, but see, Brother Sanchez, you've been talking about that well before the movie came out. So I love how you use the movie to talk about a point that you've already been doing, because I do that same thing, but your shit don't relate to that movie. Your point relates to the black woman's dream. That black woman had a dream. So when Brother Sanchez says that deja vu is the ability for us to go forward, you always thought that deja vu was your ability to recollect what happened in the past. No, deja vu is your ability to go forward. And the deja vu is actually telling you that you have actually been here before because you're a time traveler and you go forward into the future. See, you always felt like I've had deja vu because I'm an empath. I have extremely vivid deja vu, i.e. the smells, the sound is not just the thing that happens, it's everything. I'm surrounded by a bubble when I'm having deja vu. I've actually experienced everything that I'm experiencing at that time. Brother Sanchez said, perfect, you've actually been there before. I know I've been here before, but I thought that it happened to me in the past because that makes more sense, right? Because time travel isn't real, right? I can't go into the future. There's not multiple dimensions like the Spider-Verse. They're not trying to prepare my son for something that they already know exists. Ha, 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 ha. Right? No, Brother Sanchez is saying, perfect, it's so vivid for you as an empath because you've been here before, but it wasn't in the past, bro. It was in the future. Meaning, i.e., when you were a child, you leapt forward. So you've been in this place before, but you were here earlier. Y'all understand the math in that? Saying that you have been here before, but you've been here in the past, but in the future. That concept that you got from God, like the shit that I got, me and Sunclaw get beamed down from God, that relates to the dream that the black woman had. The dream. Sunclaw, I know you're probably doing some research. I don't know. I see a private chat. Sunclaw might have stepped away. But anybody in the chat or Sunclaw, can y'all research the black woman who I'm talking about who wrote The Matrix, and what was the name of her book? I think it was The Third Eye or something like that. But the original story was a black woman, and she sued the brothers, and she got dogged for so many years. And it wasn't just The Matrix, you guys. It was like Lord of the Rings. It was a couple of movies, and it was based on her dream. So if you listen to Brother Sanchez, you got to wonder, well, where does Brother Sanchez get this stuff? Brother Sanchez is empathic, just like the woman who wrote The Matrix. Think about the woman who wrote The Matrix. They could not tell another story because they never told the story. Now wait. Think about the woman who did tell a story. Wow. It's like Brother Sanchez. It's like perfect timing. It's like my concept when I told you the story about Jack and the Beanstalk, and how God gave me the understanding of this alignment that took place in 2021 and what was being done in 2021, and how they told us that these lights that are shining down on the earth haven't shined down on the earth like this in 2,000 years. I said, this is the coming again of God. This is what they meant, because the Bible is astrology. This is what they meant. And I said, what can grow now? Because I grow food, I grow marijuana, I use grow lights. I know how specific lights and colors grow certain things. Well, if we have an alignment of Mars and Jupiter and the sun and the earth, that means certain lights are beaming down on the earth. Certain plants or certain people, certain thoughts, certain things can spark and grow. That's the age of Aquarius. It's a funny way of explaining what's going on. It's a funny, but it's not complex if you grow food, if you grow flowers, if you've taken the time to cultivate the soil, if you germinated the seed and you planted the seed and you actually wait for that bud to grow and then you wait for it to bloom and you see it become a rose and it becomes something that's edible. If you watch that process slowly and prayed on it, then it's not so far-fetched to understand that when these heavenly bodies align and you can see their light, their light can also see you, that there's some type of photosynthesis occurring that is not normal. We understand photosynthesis, right? What gives us life. That's why we used to worship the sun, right? But now, during this time and age of Aquarius, there's more lights. What else is being birthed? And not just physically, metaphysically, what else is being birthed? I talked to you about being the sun people, about why the winter solstice was important, why they made a joke out of black people getting their superpowers. Black people have been getting their superpowers all year long because of the alignment, because of these heavenly bodies shining lights upon this generation of black people that haven't been shined down in over 2,000 years. So when Brother Sanchez and I have these thoughts and dreams that are given to us by the mother computer is related to the black woman who did the first Matrix movies. And the only thing I can say to you about Matrix 4 is the person who did it is not like me, not like Sunclaw, not like Brother Sanchez, not like the sister who wrote those 3 movies. And we don't even have to go into the feminism and social justice. We can go into the lack of story, the lack of depth. During the 3rd year of a pandemic, DEFCON 3, you have an opportunity to make a movie to shift thought. Black Lives Matter protest, Dante Wright murder. You have an opportunity to shift thought to make things better in America. And you bring Trinity back to life and make her fly. That's not a vision. That doesn't wow me. I don't know how they even got the movie made. That's not a vision. A movie has to be a vision. Hey, baby. I do. It's bomb. Vicky made banana bread. We made some banana bread. We made some
We tried to make some butter.
We made some cookies, Christmas cookies, banana bread. We made breakfast for dinner. We had a French toast bar. So we had chocolate French toast from the 85 Degrees Bakery. I don't know if y'all got these bakeries in California. We got a lot of Pacific Islander population. So we got a lot of Filipino, Hmong, and Korean. Like, we got a lot of Pacific Islanders. So they got all these different bakeries and tea, bobo tea, and all these different type of, it's fly as fuck. So they make this really good bread. So you got 85 Degrees Bakery. It's a couple of these bakeries, right? So I got some egg bread, thick ass egg bread. I got some chocolate chip bread. I got some raisin bread. I got like 4 kinds of bread, made French toast, and then we had biscuits and gravy and potatoes. So we had dinner and breakfast all at the same time, like some real Christmas activities. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Remy, what's up? Remy in the building. What's up, boy? So yeah, and then while we were cooking, we made the desserts too. So big Christmas cookies all over the floor, all over the house, because the kids just having fun, playing, making Christmas cookies, throwing Christmas cookies and icing everywhere. And we got banana bread. Binky made Binky's banana bread.
But we don't have a loaf here, so that's why it looks like that. But
oh wow, baby, thank you.
Try it.
Try it on live.
And I want to see your honest reaction.
Honest reaction, Binky's banana bread. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby. Oh wow.
Yeah, you see.
The chocolate chip, yeah.
Hey, what's up, Remy?
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Salute, Merry Christmas. Tommy Gunn had a chat earlier. Merry Christmas, Tommy Gunn. Merry Christmas, Says nothing for rent. What? No, man. No, go ahead. Go ahead. That was a bribe. That was a bribe, everybody. I just got bribed, everybody. That was a bribe, everybody.
No,
that was a bribe. She don't love me.
I do love you, and I tried it, and I was like,
she's leaving. She's going to her mother's house. That was a bribe.
It wasn't a bribe.
And they don't like me, so I'm not going.
That's such a lie.
That was a bribe. Here, have some banana. I made it homemade just for you, husband.
I did.
I'm leaving. It's good, baby.
I'm not leaving. I'm staying.
No, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You can leave.
No, I'm not gonna leave.
I don't care. You can leave. I don't care. I got this right here. I'm gonna be married to this. This is what I'm gonna do right
Well,
here.
show them your gift that I got you. Since
You can leave.
show them your gift. You didn't show everything that I got you.
I'm not showing them my. Oh, y'all want to think it's gonna be $50. Sunclaw, I said Sunclaw gonna be mad.
We gotta send him one.
It's gonna be $50.
Yeah, but his is gonna say the perfect son.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be tight.
The perfect son.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And to show the other side, I am perfect. Oh, see, they can send some call one.
Yeah, we're gonna send you one. $50. You can put hot and cold in here.
Come with a metal straw.
Come in the box. It comes with a metal straw. Come with a metal straw and the straw cleaner. So you know, Perfect Timing Podcast, hot and cold tea mugs,
tumbler,
Perfect Timing Podcast tumbler. Perfect Timing Podcast tumbler.
Hey, that's lit. See.
Perfect Timing I am perfect. So these gonna be for sale. $50 just for you guys. Order them before they be gone. And depending on how many people want to get them, we might could get the price down if we buy more. So here you go.
We could probably get a new box too.
Yeah, so
Like a Perfect Timing box.
you could probably get the price down if we buy more. So
See, I love you. I wasn't just giving you a piece.
You hear that?
So
Hear that? That's
you
you
should
as
show
she
your other
leaves.
gifts.
As she
Because,
leaves.
you
As she
know-
leaves. Why should I show gifts when you're leaving?
Show me then.
Why should I show you leaving?
For a second.
And don't be gone all night long. Don't be drinking. They gonna be drinking. Okay. Go ahead, baby. Hurry up and go now before it gets late. Cause then you're gonna be whining and crying. Okay, go ahead.
But then they shit it. So I could in the back.
Go ahead. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Go ahead, go.
Now, honey, play me close like butter, play close. Don't listen. Brunches, interviews by the fool. Consider the fool, cause I'm dropped out of high school.
Phone ringing.
Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
Hello? What's up, bro? I can't put the speaker. I gotta put the speaker. My phone. Here we go. Hold on. God damn it. Hey. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You want your first one to start?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, can you hear this? Because I can put it on mute.
Impromptu poll. Remy, Cam Rob, Sage Never Ran. What did y'all have to eat today?
You over there bumping? You sound like you're doing it live right now.
Oh, I'm doing a live stream, so everybody can hear you. Everybody can hear you, so don't talk about
I don't want nobody to hear say.
Yeah, don't talk about no dead bodies or nothing like that.
Yeah. Fuck the world, nigga. Darth Vader, nigga.
What'd you eat? What'd you eat?
See, I made a bunch of shit. Ham, prime rib.
God damn.
Macaroni and cheese, you know, the whole thing. Yams, green beans, mashed potatoes.
I got yams, greens, potatoes, beans, sweet potato. Who made it? You made it.
Had it all.
Oh,
now I'm just sitting back fucking with some of this desert door Sotol.
What is that? Some tequila or something?
Yeah, it's like tequila, but it's not. It's a different little bush called I forget what it's called, but
is it the mezcal?
No, it's called Sotol. Sotol.
Oh, it's a Mexican shit though.
They make it in Texas. The bush that they take it from is kind of
Hey,
like
what's
the
up,
agave
300?
bush that come from that make tequila, but it's like softer. You know, it don't have the burn like tequila.
Sotol.
Sotol. Sotol.
Sotol. I seen that on a beer. No, that must have been sold. That wasn't sold. That wasn't a beer.
Yeah, it's legit. I'll be on this shit.
The mezcal is popular now in California. You see a lot of mezcal bars popping up now.
Yeah, that shit. That's some good. That's some fucking lighter fluid.
Oh yeah.
That mezcal ain't no joke.
That mezcal ain't no joke. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the tequila.
They got some. It's another thing called anejo and reposado. Some good shit.
Okay. I got some clear. I got some clear in there. I got the big bottle from Costco, so I ain't got to buy tequila for the next 3 years. Because I don't really drink like that. Unless somebody wants something that's some special. Like, everybody been on that Casa de Migos. That's what everybody talking about now. But I'm not single, so I ain't got to buy no special liquor.
Niggas get what you want.
Yeah, I can get what I want. You know, if you single, you trying to impress somebody, you got to get the latest liquor, whatever's popular. 300 in the building. Merry Christmas, 300. Merry Christmas, 300. You know, I probably got my solar inverter. I got an EcoMax EcoFlow solar inverter. I know Pops have been talking to you about. Do you got one?
No, I ain't got no solar yet.
My boy 300, he margarita's strong enough for me. Hey, for real, that's all I need is some margaritas, man. I don't drink hard. But you know what I do got in here new that I've been on? I've made me a Black Beauty. I created my own drink.
Okay.
It's I need to have Vicky make me a drink before she go. It's so Rick Ross has a new liqueur. It's a vanilla cognac liqueur. And it's kind of like Grand Marty. So you remember we used to drink Beautifuls?
Yep, all the time. That was my shit.
So, okay, we used to love to drink a Beautiful, right? So Rick Ross came out with this liqueur, and everybody didn't know how to drink it because it's kind of sweet. It's a vanilla cognac liqueur. And I saw a couple black guys review it, and I was like, oh, okay, I know how to drink this. If this is like Grand Marty, is an orange cognac liqueur. So I'm like, I'm going to just make a Beautiful with this bitch. So I got the Vlone. That's the Rick Ross vanilla cognac liqueur. Mixed it with some Remy and lemon squid. Oh, that shit go dumb, boy. I call it a Black Beauty because both the bottles is black. You know what I'm saying? So instead of a Beautiful, it's called a Black Beauty. You know what I'm saying? Cognac liqueur, and then nice VSOP and some lemon. That motherfucker go dummy right there. Oh, yeah, 300 said, glad you got it. Yeah, man, you in Texas, man, so you need to look into getting some alternate power sources, you know what I'm saying, because that ERCOT ain't shit, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that shit be fucking up. You know, these white people be fucking shit up all the time.
So
I was thinking about getting some solar, but, you know, I feel like even solar is kind of
I don't know. I feel like it's good. It's just you know, you need more. I feel like there's a lot missing, right, in the electronics community, man. It's like they want to sell you one thing when really what you need is kind of a hybrid solution. And technically, a hybrid solution would probably cost you a lot less and give you a lot more bang for your buck. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
So actually, that's what my brother Sunclaw is gonna build. He's gonna build his own, and there's a lot of people online that's doing the same thing because they agree with what you're saying. So they want to they're gonna do that. And Sunclaw has bought his own batteries from Walmart in China, and then he got the hookup. So he's gonna build his own thing. And a lot of people online have done the same thing. So this is not like solar on the house. This is like an inverted battery. You know what I'm saying? Like my neighbor got like a gas powered generator, and I was gonna get a gas powered because we was out power for a week, and PG&E starts saying, "Hey, we're gonna do rolling brownouts again, so you better go get you a generator." You know, PG&E ain't never said that, so I was hella surprised. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. Like PG&E telling people to go buy a generator, like wow, like, and I was out power for a whole week, and now. You know, they gave money to, you know, you can go buy food, but that shit didn't matter. That shit was like being in hell. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if they telling me that's going to happen again and we're not going to reimburse you, like, I was like, okay, I got to go get a backup plan because they fucking telling me it's going to happen. So that's what made me go get the shit.
Man, I be, so the only problem I had is like they got, you know, I mean, they got a lot of sources for electricity, right? I mean, electricity is just real heat. And so like a lot of people out here, they'll do, they have no problems with burning trash. Like there's some areas that are not owned by the HOA, right? Where you could technically burn your own garbage, right? So if you follow that through to its logical conclusion and you start talking about, you know, I wanna save energy, save the planet, right? So in reality, the thing that they don't tell people is that what should be happening is that all of your biodegradable waste should be burned, right? And if anybody was doing anything smart, you would have a thermoelectric converter, right, where you convert heat into electricity.
Why does it sound like Marty McFly? I'm seeing
now to go off on that. What a lot of people don't know, a lot of the dumps are on fire already.
The fusion thing where he put the thing in there and he generated fusion. Yeah. So it's kind of like that though, right? Because in reality, you know, if you burn anything, it's going to generate some electricity, right? So you should be on the real. If you had a power wall or some sort of energy storage, you should be burning your garbage through a thermoelectric converter, storing that energy as stored energy for when you need it, along with your solar, along with your wind turbine on top of your house. So it's like if you came with these really awesome hybrid solutions, you would need, or the solar needs could go down, right? Because you might need a 60 megawatt per month system or something like that. So I just look at it like these motherfuckers be selling niggas on some shit because they don't want you to have the real solution. They don't want you burning your garbage and generating electricity because that just makes too much motherfucking sense. Like, what do I need to? I gotta pay for the food, pay for the cartons, pay for everything, and then I can get some benefit out of this shit and save some money on the back end. Nah, they ain't trying to let you niggas save no money.
You just blew up the whole spot, man, with the thermo. Did you hear that? Hold on, New Sunclaw, my brother online, he wanted to add. What was you gonna say, Sunclaw?
He's absolutely right. Not a little bit, but absolutely right. You can produce power from the waste of organic waste matter breaking down. It turns into gas. That stuff gets hot. In fact, there are some dumps that what they do is that they lay down a layer of trash. Then they lay down special tubing. Then they put down a rubber layer to seal in the gases and quote unquote garbage juices. And they harvest that. And then they burn it to generate electricity.
Take the methane.
What I pulled up over here on the screen is a landfill that's on fire. Do you happen to know how many landfills catch on fire? How many times a year it happens here in the United States? Close to 10,000 times.
Damn. That's a year, 10,000 landfills catch on fire?
They catch on fire 10,000 times.
That sounds like intentional, right?
Because of the breakdown of that organic matter and that heat in the dumps called catch on fire. So if it catches on fire, that means that there's fuel there. And that fuel can be harvested to make energy, just like your brother-in-law was saying.
And we oh, this is my real brother right here.
Oh, that Manu.
Yeah, Manu.
Yep.
And he's absolutely right. Look at that. That's garbage on fire back there.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it's a conspiracy. I just believe that, it stops being a conspiracy when, 75% of the people believe it. So at that point, it ain't conspiracy no more. It's just all y'all niggas stupid.
Right. And
that's why I like Darth Vader. Destroy fucking all the Jedis, take over the galaxy, start wiping niggas out.
And here's another thing that people are sleeping on.
Black people.
What do you think we're putting in our cars right now? Garbage.
Man. We put garbage.
Decayed organic matter that died God knows how long ago.
Fossil fuels.
That stuff in the dump that's catching on fire, that is new fossil fuels that are being made. Yeah. That is natural gas that's being produced by the breakdown of that garbage, or that organic matter.
People actually believe that their cars are powered by gas. When, to be honest, your car is not powered by the fuel that you put into it.
Right.
That's not what makes your car run, right? That's what fuels is the catalyst for the chemical reaction. Technically, your car runs off heat, right? So if the pistons is pushed by steam and pressure, right? You just burn the gas to generate the heat so that you can fuel that pressure, right? And that release to kind of make those pistons go up and down. That's why all the old original cars was all steam cars, right? The first car wasn't a gas car, it was a steam car, right? It was coal, right? You put coal in there, ran just like a fucking a train ran, right? And so they flipped over as to start using this new catalyst, which is fuel. And the reason why they use gas is because
it's a commodity.
It's really about weight, right? It's about the weight ratio, right? It's about it being able, it's kind of like the same thing that happened to Tesla, right? It's being able to, something that you can meter, something that you can measure, that you can put into a liter or a gallon, something that I can charge you per gallon for, but then also that is the weight ratio to the automobile, that I can now have this fuel that I can measure and put in here, and something that's not readily available to the common person, right? So that now I can actually make money off of you. Because if you really start thinking about it, at that point, if your car really only runs off the heat, then in reality, you could just put a bunch of fucking wood and burn the wood and have the same effect that you would have as
during the Second World War, the Swedes did it.
Exactly.
They had gasifiers. You can burn wood inside of a special chamber. Then you can collect the fumes that's coming off of it, and then you can burn it inside of an internal combustion engine. And they were doing this around the Second World War.
Mm-hmm. But that's harder for me to make billions off of.
All right,
now you just,
I was gonna say that.
You know what I mean? Now nigga, all you gotta do is go cut a tree.
No, because Sucklaw was saying this last week. You wouldn't eliminate your customer. You would be the shortest lifespan businessman of all time and the stupidest businessman. You know what I mean? You created the perfect invention, and you made it so perfect that you only got to sell it one time, and now you out of business because everybody bought it once. They never need to buy it. No,
you look at refrigerators. Look at how the refrigerators were built when they first came out in the 20s, 30s, and in the early in the early 19th century, right? When refrigerators really got popping, them niggas was built lead lined. I mean, you ever seen that one movie where they had a nuclear bomb and the nigga hid in a refrigerator and he survived? I mean, I think it was Indiana Jones.
Was it?
Yeah, Indiana Jones had this scene where he hid in a 1950s refrigerator, right, when the nuclear bomb dropped.
Oh yeah, they was in the 50s. They was in that neighborhood. Right?
And when you see it, you think it's the joke, right? You think it's like, oh shit, that's funny. That ain't funny. That shit is real. Them refrigerators would go through motherfucking anything. And so the problem became just like what you just said. Now it's not a disposable commodity anymore. You could have that refrigerator for 10, 15, 20 years.
You gave it to your daughter when she got married. And they kept it the whole marriage.
Kept it the whole time.
If you remember the honeymooners, they be like, your mother gave us this refrigerator.
Thank you. Them shits lasted forever. They was built just like automobiles. They was built to last. And then around the 70s and 60s, 70s, and 80s, they start realizing, well, hold on a minute. We can't make shit this good because we killing our customer base. Now your punk ass go over to Lowe's and spend $3,000 on a Samsung refrigerator. That nigga gone in 5 years. If it lasts 5 years.
But they tell you that when you buy it. They tell you that when you buy it. It's only good for this long. And it's not only good for this long. It's the same thing with the iPhone. People are not buying a new iPhone every year because it's so much better. You buy a new iPhone, you buy a new refrigerator, and they know you're going to buy a new refrigerator. Why? Because your wife is going to make you buy a new refrigerator. Your wife is going to make you redo the kitchen. They got us by the balls.
It's also something called planned obsolescence. That's what we're talking about.
Planned obsolescence.
Do you happen to know what you have to do to a car in order to have it run if it was made when we still had lead and gas? You have to take the heads off of that car, take out the valves, put in hardened valve seats. Because one of the things that the lead and gasoline used to do, it used to make it so that you didn't need hardened valve seats. But now that you have unleaded gasoline, you need you need hardened valve seats for the valves so that the engine doesn't tear up the valves. So guess what? All of those cars that were built when gasoline was leaded, they're not compatible with today's gasoline without an additive or without you having to send it to a machine shop to be modified.
To make the cars more disposable, basically.
Yeah.
To make the cars more disposable, which is why you still got fucking Cutlasses and Mustangs still on the fucking road.
Yeah, and the modern fuel will gum up carburetors too. It'll gum up fuel pumps. Because of that ethanol, it turns into a gel inside the fuel system.
You know what I was thinking about too when y'all was talking about that is that movie Gung Ho and how our grandfathers would not buy anything because of what you just talked about. There was a time when nobody wouldn't buy anything that wasn't made in America because it was a piece of shit. It literally was. It literally was.
It literally was. Like America for a long time, after the wars, they made good shit.
The things we're describing, right? The indestructible goods we're talking about were only made in America.
Yeah, the Chinese shit was cheap.
Correct.
And it's like right now, what happened was that Chinese labor is cheap. Chinese they don't put the biggest materials in there. They don't have the most educated manufacturing base, and so they make just cheap disposable materials. So everything they treated it as such, right? Don't buy that Chinese stuff; it's cheap, right? Whereas now, buy that Chinese shit because it's cheap. I need to sell you 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them.
But what happened? Hyundai was and Sanyo were these poo-poo brands, but now Samsung and Sony are the Gucci's of the market.
Well, I don't think they were. I don't think they came out as bad. I think there was a problem. I think the initial was that maybe the manufacturing getting the ramp up to where they could actually. It's like Tesla, right? Like if you look at Tesla, when they first started, them first Roadsters was shit, right? Yeah. You only had a couple of them on the market, and then when you first got that Model S, that Model S was fucking garbage for the first few years, right? Until they start selling. you know, and start building up a base. And so that's what Hyundai did. They started kind of like Ford, right? You start with this shitty product, right? But you make it
I'm not even talking about the product. I'm talking about the brand name. What they've done is they shifted the brand recognition from Ford being a brand that was popular, like with girls and cool. Ford went with the Dallas Cowboys. You would have Ford trucks and pretty girls, and like girls drove Ford trucks. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect. You know, when you mention that, you know what the craziest thing is? Honda and Toyota.
These were not brands.
When they started taking off, you know who was buying them? The same people who were fighting the Japanese. They were indoctrinated to have a hatred of the Japanese so that they could fight them in the war. The Japanese tortured them and everything. And you know what? Man, they tortured the hell out of my buddy Bill. But they sure do build a good car.
Mm-hmm.
Their cars were that much better than what was being built in the United States at that time, that they overcame their prejudice and bought those cars.
Overcame that prejudice, because who gives a fuck? I'm trying to I drive a Toyota right now.
And for a long
fuck what y'all niggas talking about.
And for a long time, no. That's a good point, because for a long time, a black woman wouldn't buy and drive a Toyota or a Hyundai. And then we could get to like the cool factor and what made these brands cool. That was hip hop and blacks, just like with Clubhouse and this social media. But Lexus is what made these brands cool, and then hip hop made these brands cool, and blacks made these brands cool, and then these became the premier brands. But even when they had a good product, they weren't the number one product.
Well, you just said something that's real key, and that, you know, I think a lot of people I think black people know it, right? But at a certain point, black people are suckers, right? So, you know, what the prevailing thought is that we know that if we make a product that black people want to use, right? Because blacks are the downtrodden, right? They you know, we have to make stuff cool out of what's not cool, because we can't afford all the other shit that everybody can afford, right? So if I make a product for these people and they turn it into a popular product, then I'm gonna make money. So if I take Toyota and I say not a lot of people driving Toyotas, right? But then I start making Lexus under a different name, right? And I make a luxury brand, because that's exactly what happened with all of these different cars. Yep. Infiniti is nothing but a Nissan, right? Cadillac ain't nothing but really a Chevy. I forget who makes that. I think it's Chevy or GM. Right?
I'm going to bounce off of you what you're saying. Acura, Infiniti, and Lexus do not exist in Japan. They do not exist in Europe.
Get out of here.
Yeah, no, they just for niggas.
They exist only in the North American market, because why? Nobody is going to be willing to pay luxury car prices for a Honda in the United States, for a Toyota in the United States, for a Honda in the United States. So those brand names only exist in the North American market. They don't exist in the rest of the world.
Wow. We should be insulted by that.
They have Toyotas that are so luxurious they compete with Bentley, and they compete with Rolls Royce.
That fucking that GTR that everybody be talking about, that Nissan GTR. I think here it's called something. I think when it first started, it was called something different.
Yep, I think it might be under the Infiniti.
They had a name that it was in Japan, and then when it came out here, it was something different. And for a while, you couldn't even get the car here, right? Because again, it was, you know, a lightweight racer drift machine, and that's not popular with niggas. Right? Niggas ain't buying
the Fast and the Furious car, the one that Paul drove, the Skyline. That was
the Nissan Skyline.
And the other weird thing is too, those cars have been sold in Australia and in New Zealand as used cars for like $5,000. When they make it here, I think they're now closer to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000.
Shit, that Skyline is like fucking $80,000, $90,000 car.
And I mean the older used ones.
Crazy. Oh yeah.
The used ones, because in Japan they have rules and regulations. If your car is older than a certain number of years, You have to keep it up. It has to meet emission standards and all this, and you have to keep it up on tip-top shape. So people say, man, I don't want to keep on spending all this money on this old car. So they roll their cars over really, really frequently in Japan. And I think there have been a couple of people who've been trying to import those used cars from Japan, and some of them have gotten themselves into trouble.
Yeah, you don't want you selling that shit here.
Hey, what's up, 300?
Merry Christmas, bro.
Hey, what's up, SoundCloud? Hey, what's up, Perfect? How's everybody doing? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, bro. What's the icon?
What, my icon?
No, you said, have you guys seen the iCar? I'm pulling up a video now. I was asking you to break it down. I see it's Apple introducing iCar.
Yeah, just like they did the iPhone. Now they're gonna call it the iCar, and it's ridiculous. Like, if you see those tires are like the shape of a basketball, just round, and they turn in any direction. I saw a video of it that was really crazy. I don't know if anybody's seen it yet.
Yeah, that's the new shit they trying to come out with, is them omnidirectional tires.
So why would you want to have omnidirectional? What movie had that? It was a movie where Tron had the basketballs, right?
In its iPhones, AirPods, and other smart devices. So why not a smart car? Back in 2014, Apple announced that it had begun work on what they called Project Titan. This project involved more than 1,000 vehicle engineers.
Yeah, I mean, if that really happens.
Back in 2016, a rumor began to circulate that Apple planned to put the concept on the shelves and not work on it anymore. These rumors began after some leadership issues and other problems within the company itself.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
We got a big update that had many people, myself included, excited. Apple confirmed that it is still working on their line of electric vehicles, and the plan is to release it within the next 3 to 6 years. Reuters has stated that Apple is aiming for a 2024 release, but others speculate that there will be more within the range of 2025 to 2027.
Yep.
This venture into the world of cars means that Apple will be working with a manufacturing partner to produce the electric cars. Initially, a partnership was discussed between Apple and Hyundai-Kia. This would prove beneficial for Apple for a few reasons. One of the biggest being Hyundai and Kia already have a steady foot in the automotive industry. Also, if Apple works with Hyundai, they will be able to base some of the vehicle designs on some already tested vehicles that are currently in production at home.
Oh wow, look at that.
The rumors also began to suggest that Apple was considering Hyundai Kia for partnership because this deal would be what gave Apple access to an already established production point across North America. Although they would be partnered up, it was reported that Hyundai Kia would be willing to allow Apple to maintain control over both Apple Car and the software that was designed for it. This being because Apple had plans to eventually have the car be Apple branded and Apple alone, rather than a Kia that included Apple
I wouldn't trust Apple.
Which is a fairly generous thing for Hyundai Kia to offer during a partnership deal. They would essentially help Apple.
They said they're going to give Apple, y'all know the word I'm saying, Apple would own the software and own the car. Apple going to own Kia and Hyundai after this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't get in the bed with Apple on this. I don't think.
And they'll have that hood sealed because when the car breaks down, you got to replace it.
Yes, because
it's not going to be user service.
You got to buy Apple products. You got to go to the iCloud. You got to go to Apple. Just like buying a German car, you got to get German wrenches and German mechanics. Why wouldn't Apple do the same thing with their cars? Make everything proprietary. Yeah, they will. And then you hear what he said they focused on? So Apple is not making the car to sell you cars because we're moving away from cars. Kids don't even want cars. Apple is doing this deal to do what? What Kanye West wanted. What did Kanye West want? The manufacturing. Apple is doing this deal to get their manufacturing. If they could get they already probably have some robot. I was watching a cartoon with the kids last night with the robot with the iPhone. The next iteration of the phone is the robot, right? So they're gonna replace the phone with the iRobot, right? So what if Apple wants the manufacturing facilities to make the iRobot? I don't want to make cars. Who the fuck wants a car? We don't have a tunnel or something else to transport you around. It won't be a car. I want to make the robot. I don't have facilities to make that. They're in the same position that Kanye West was in. I got the ideas, I got the money, but I can't make the iRobot.
Yeah, you got no manufacturing.
But Hyundai and Kia can.
Shit, they
already are. They got the dog over there. They already got the robot that can flip and run and everything. So they want that. They want those. Let me be quiet. Y'all might not understand. That might be too much. I think they want the manufacturing.
Everybody want manufacturing. Ain't no manufacturing here no more.
Yeah,
nobody make. And the worst part about it is really ain't no manufacturing at all. It's all robotic and everything anyway. You need the place to have it. No one's building new manufacturing facilities.
That's what happened with Kanye West. So that's what they want from. That's what they want from Hyundai and Kia. Because think about it, you guys. My son don't want a car. We put rims. They don't want. The 20-year-olds don't want cars, and the car companies know that. They already know in this fourth industrial revolution, the children, our kids, won't have two cars in their garage. They're already prepared for that.
Man, and it's a shame because it's going to be a loss of a tradition. Have you ever hunched in the back of a car in a parking lot? You're over there getting it, and then you pretend like you see somebody coming, and the girl gets
Hey, you know what this made me think of? Hey, bro, I was just roasting the Matrix 4. So this makes me think
garbage.
Thank you. So when I expose the fact that Apple doesn't want to make a car, right? They really want to make the robot or AI. This is all about AI, right? So I was just chopping up Matrix 4, and I want to hear your take, but this is my take. What I said about Matrix 4 is a lot of people doing esoteric deep dives about Matrix 4, but I said I'm not going to do a deep dive about a shitty movie. The one thing I will tell you about Matrix 4 that was obvious to me that we can't do a deep dive on is that those white boys did not write the movie, and they stole it from that black woman because they could not continue the story because they were not the original storytellers. So let's not do a deep dive on the fucking movie. What we can do is we can fucking vindicate the woman who wrote in The Third Eye, who had that dream, who was an empath, and who actually saw into the future and could tell us that we in a fucking simulation, and they downplayed her because she had a real vision of what we really have, and they could not tell a story. They in Black Lives Matter, Dante Wright murder, fucking third year in the pandemic, any way they could have went with the story. This is the Matrix. You got an open playing field to get really deep and get loose. And you know where they go to? Fucking feminism. It was the most 25 minutes in, they had a fucking Sylvester Stallone Rocky style montage. A fucking montage. A montage in Matrix. Oh man, I was so pissed off. I said, is this a fucking montage in Matrix 4? Fucking Jada Pinkett is the fucking star. Oh my God. The one thing that was blaringly obvious is they didn't write the first fucking movies. They didn't write the first fucking esoteric deep dive. The one fucking thing you can talk about is clap your hands for that black woman because she wrote those movies. She's vindicated with The Matrix 4. That was the most shittiest piece of shit I ever seen in my fucking life. Oh my God. Fucking montage. A fucking montage. There was no storytelling. There was no storytelling. The story never materialized. To have Trinity come back, just to have a female heroine. Just to have a female heroine.
Yeah, I didn't get none of that all. And I mean, I can understand they didn't die. Okay, I get that in the plot line. But it just seemed like it went wild. They completely changed the other city. I mean, it didn't sum up. Again, now I'm in my writing phase. Like Sarah always talking shit about me lately because I've been, I'm picking apart all of these sitcoms and everything that I watch because now I'm starting to study the formulas of how do you engage an audience, right? How do you make your sitcom or you make your story, your TV show, popular? And it's like some of these fucking plot lines and the shit just didn't make any sense to me. I was really underwhelmed. Well, I'm glad that it came out on HBO Max. That's the only thing that it was a saving grace that I didn't have to spend no extra money to go see it.
Same thing with Doom. I was very disappointed. Doom was a little bit better than this. It was light.
I ain't gonna front. I liked Doom. I thought Doom was a good movie. I did think that I got played on. You know, I'm thinking it's gonna be a Dune movie,
right,
not a Dune episode 1.
Right. They didn't put episode 1 until after the movie came out.
Yeah, that's what they should have. If they would have let me know that from the beginning, then I wouldn't have had a problem with it. I'd be like, okay, you know what? They're gonna have an episode 1. I'm with that, right?
But I don't know, man. The Matrix 4, what y'all got to add? 300 Sunclaw? What y'all got to add about the Matrix 4?
But they have to milk you on the Dune front. They have to milk you. People have been waiting so long for a Dune movie that they had to think about, how can we make more money off of this? Disney probably bought the rights to Dune, just like they did with Star Wars.
Japanese.
And they're going to keep coming out with thousands of episodes of Dune.
Yeah.
It's never going to be an end. I can't get any enjoyment out of a story that doesn't have an end.
Me neither.
You know, we had a movie like that in the 1980s. It was called The Never Ending Story. Y'all remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that movie. I was a kid.
Atreyu. We used to love Atreyu.
Atreyu! Atreyu! Hey, you gonna have me start crying.
He just said something about Disney. I want to flip this up. I don't know if y'all heard this. Have y'all heard about the Star Wars the little thing that they got going on that they trying to pump?
What?
The Star Wars experience.
What?
So Disney got a new thing, a 2-day Star Wars experience where you go and you're supposed to like stay out. I think it's called Star Wars Star Cruiser or some shit like that. Where for 2 days you get to engulf yourself in the Star Wars universe, right? They encourage you to wear. No, this is not a lie. I swear to God. And when you research it, it's gonna have you cracking the fuck up, right? Because it's an experience they encourage.
I have no interest in that unless they allow me to be dressed up like Princess Leia and be changed up. I have no interest.
It gets worse. So they want you to dress up though, right? So here's the flip. It's 2 days. Guess how much this shit costs for the 2 days?
How much?
5 racks.
$5,000. $5,000
for 2 days. The trailer was so bad that they yanked every fucking video off the internet, off YouTube. The only way I got to see it is they had a repost from someone who downloaded the original shit and repopped the trailer. It's just so fucking, it's such a money grab. Like, it don't make no damn sense 2 days. And you start looking at the itinerary, I could see if I got to be fucking, Darth Vader for a week, and take over the universe, and you had all this nerd shit that I can go play around with, okay, I get you. And I get to Disneyland, take my family there, okay, maybe. But these niggas want 5 G's for 2 days. It's unbelievable.
It reminds me, what is that shit that's in the park? Remember, sometimes you go to the park on the weekends with your kids and they be playing all the little guys who don't have girlfriends be playing with the little wooden swords in the park on the weekends. It sounds like
I forget what that's called.
Yeah. It sounds like that, but they probably try to play into the cosplay. You know what I'm saying? So
it is. That's exactly what they do.
They're trying to play into cos, so it's probably going to be some cosplay type of girls there. So they're trying to buy into this market. So you got to think about it like in certain places, it's an issue. I think it's going to be more things popping up like this because there's more issues with men and women coming together and coupling. Like in Japan and China, they got these parks because men are afraid to speak to women where you got a bench. If a woman sits on the bench, that means you can speak to her. So more of these things, they're going to create weird places for people to interact because they've created these people who don't know how to interact with each other. They just go into these separate spaces. Because why would you need this? Why can't you just meet somebody who likes Star Wars? You got to go to this place and then you'll meet a friend. That's crazy. So it's going to be worth it to some people.
Oh yeah,
because they
can't. Especially if you nerd out, it's definitely worth it
to build a relationship. If you're unable to find a relationship, your mom might pay for it. Your mom might pay for it. I'll pay for it, Kyle. I'll pay for a weekend, Kyle.
Shit, I mean, 5Gs, they obviously want people with disposable income. That's their goal.
Yeah.
Right? Because ain't nobody else spending 5Gs.
I'll pay for it, Kyle. You have a good weekend. You'll make a friend. Yeah. Because the guy can't interact socially anywhere else. And this is somewhere where you don't even have to be you. You don't even have to be you. You can show up as the person you designed in the video game and the clothing that your mom helped you buy. Yeah, I'll pay for the weekend, Kyle.
Shit's unbelievable. And the shit look trash. It looks like it's just thrown together.
The Fire Festival.
Yep.
Yeah, man, but when everybody, it's funny, isn't it funny how people will say Disney and they think Disney, but I don't know, like, you know, a lot of times when we talk, like we were talking about, I forget what we started on, but Disney's owned by the Japanese. I don't think we should call it Disney anymore. They don't move like Disney. It's almost like Facebook was forced to change their name to Meta. Like, we shouldn't accept that name anymore from that company. It's not the company that we grew up with. It's not quote unquote Disney. They don't make quote unquote, they redefine what Disney is. When you purchase certain things and you make certain movies, it's no longer Disney. Disney is like, it became a terminology, right? Beyond the company, right? Right? It was a colloquialism, right? For something that was like mom and pop and mundane, right? That's Disney, like okie doke. You know what I mean? Not anymore. So I think that's one of the things. How like anonymity, how special is that it's like the mafia acquiring a company and being able to move. Now I'm moving as Disney. That's crazy. You the mafia. You the mafia. Why do people keep calling you Disney? What have they done that's been Disney since they've acquired this company? And what Japanese company acquired Disney? Who the fuck was it? Does anyone know? All I'm just saying to you that when we call it Disney, it's not Disney. It's not an American company. And that's been for a long time. It's been a Japanese-owned company. This is a different type of thing we're talking about. And they still get
It's not the same.
No.
It's not Walt Disney no more.
It's not Walt Disney. It's not even American. And America allowed them to keep the name and have this anonymity and move as if they're still the Disney company. They're not. I'm not trying to hate, but I just wanted to just point that out that we call it Disney, but it's not Disney at all. Nothing about it is Disney. I was very surprised when you saw the Disney Plus and how they acquired. They have, I think The Simpsons is on there, right?
Everybody on there now.
The Simpsons.
Yeah, because they ended up buying all of Fox's some of Fox's content. I think it's because the owner of Fox wanted to make another deal, buy Sky TV or some weird thing like that, and he had to divest his channel. So he sold off, I think, Fox Entertainment to Disney. But he kept the Fox News.
He sold Fox Entertainment to Disney and kept Fox News, and then made more money with Trump. Yeah, man. 300 said, imagine how much this car is going to cost. I don't know. This shit's supposed to be getting cheaper, man. This shit's supposed to be
price.
That car is only going to cost you your soul. I mean, that's cheap.
But now think about what we're talking about, y'all. Thinking about what we moving toward. I'm talking about the AI and talking about thinking about the movies that they primed us for. Like, the only reason they're able to do what they do now and control us via the social media feed is how? Because most people can't afford the cell phones that they have. People are paying car notes on these cell phones, right? So how do they get us to the iRobot? How do they get us to AI? We're not going to be able to afford it, but they need us to be there. They don't give it to you. They don't give it to you. What does Samuel Jackson do in the movie in the cartoon that I'm talking about with the kids? They gave him the robot. Samuel Jackson gave everybody free access to his network when he was the Lex Luthor. They already programmed you to how this is going to happen. Obama phones. We are connected. People don't go shit without the cell phone. But how did that happen? The only way it happened is they had to give you the cell phone. They basically, like, music became free. The rappers start giving away music. People forgot about that. You know, music is free now. They just start giving away music. So to get you into the cell phone, to get you addicted, just like a drug dealer gives you the first hit, they gave you the cell phone. No one pays for a cell phone. Did y'all know that? You don't pay for a cell phone. There's homeless. Every homeless person has a cell phone. You don't have to buy a cell phone.
Oh, yeah. It's free now.
Even if you go to Verizon, you can get a cell phone for free. I'm not just saying the Obama phone. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't have to pay for a fucking cell phone. That's what the fuck I'm saying. They'll let you walk out of a store with a contract. They may cut off you can go somewhere else and get it cut on. You don't have to pay. They want you to have the phone.
They subsidize it.
They want you to have the phone. No one's ever asked why. Why are they
I worked at Verizon. I worked at Verizon for 10 years. That is so they can charge you. Verizon is all rated on what they call ARPU, right? The average revenue per unit. That's what their whole goal is, right? So they want to get you. They want to keep their ARPU as high as possible, right? So when you got 112 million clients, right? And you trying to target an ARPU of $50 per person, do the math, right? You're doing $50 per person times 112 million. That's what Verizon makes, right? Billions and billions and billions of dollars. And that's just service revenue. That don't even cost accessory revenue or what they sell in cases and all that shit that they used to have us on.
So guess what?
Our metrics was.
So guess what? Do they give a fuck?
That's why they give you the phone.
They give.
So what they do is they say, hey, I'm going to give you this $500 phone. I'm going to subsidize it for you. Make you sign a 2-year contract. And I'm going to try to get you on $50 to $60 average revenue per customer.
Are you guys listening? Are you
line.
listening? This is the.
And then I want you to have 5 lines on your account.
5.
So now
you have
I want you to have bolt-on things like the tablet plan. So we got free tablets. You ever notice that during the holidays? Man, we got free tablets. We give you tablets for free. You just got to pay $10 per line.
Anybody got a child in the chat? Anybody got a child under 8 years old and you don't have a tablet? I'll kick your ass if you lie to me on my motherfucking chat. If you got a child under 8 years old, you have a motherfucking tablet and the motherfucking cell phone. It's 2022.
Oh, believe me, I used to make so much fucking money in commission off that shit. Motherfuckers would come in there and get 3-4 tablets. It's only gonna change your bill $40. And then what we figured out a long time ago was we had this other thing called I can't remember what we used to call it. Something of value. So basically what we do is.
So wait, you telling me I'm a single mom and I get to walk out of here with 3 tablets for my children and they gonna be quiet and all it, and you gonna tell me you just gonna bill my credit card an extra $40 a month if you don't.
It got worse than that, bro. Because what we would do is we would go through your bill and we would say, okay, look, this is what I'm gonna do on your bill. I'm gonna save you $30 a month. Right? By changing you over to a new plan that you should have been on already, but no one told you there was a new plan. But I'm going to give it to you right now, and I'm still going to sell you these 3 tablets, and you ain't going to pay no difference per month.
God, no, we giving it to you. This is what I'm trying to get to people. So when the AI comes out, everybody this year, even Rose Gold, Sheldon Rose Gold got his kids the metaverse. Everybody is going to be pretty soon. What is Facebook going to do? Facebook is going to do the same thing that my brother just explained to you with Verizon. You don't have to pay. You ain't going to have to pay for the metaverse. When it comes to Ready Player One, because think about the Ready Player One movie in the book. Everyone needs to be online. So eventually, Facebook is going to give everybody, and it's so cheap. If you look at the Oculus, it's not like the PS. It's this one little handheld plastic. It might cost how much you think, New? Like $5 to make the Oculus, the metaverse. It's $300 in the store. So by time
you talking about VR MMOs. When VR MMOs come out, the world over. Y'all,
they're gonna give it to you. They're gonna give it to you to get to Ready Player One, to get to where everyone is addicted to living in this alternate reality. They're gonna give it to you.
Shit, you never seen? Have you ever seen Sword Art Online? That's real nerd shit right there.
No.
Niggas ain't knowing about Sword Art Online.
In Asia, there are people who have neglected their children to play sword art.
So Sword Art Online was a it's a TV show. Sword Art.
How do you spell
Sword
it?
Art.
How do you spell it?
It's a you can watch it on fucking Netflix, Hulu. It's everywhere.
How do you
No,
spell it?
it's not a special word.
Sword
Perfect. It's sword and then the word art.
Sword.
Oh,
Sword
okay.
Art.
Okay.
So basically, what Sword Art Online is there was this dude, right, and they came out with this thing called VR MMOs, which is a virtual reality, massively multiplayer online game, right? Which is basically like a lot of other MMO games, right, that I used to play, EverQuest and shit like that. But it's an actual. They have this rig called the Nerve Gear. And they've been working on Nerve Gear for like the last 10 years now. And basically what it does is it immerses you in this virtual world where it takes over your body and you walk, you feel, it takes over all your senses, right? And so what this dude did, when he created the game and created the hardware, he changed it to where the game was like real. So if you died in the game, instead of it being a game, if you died in game, you died in real life. And so there was 10,000 people that was stuck in the game. Couldn't get out the game because the only way you can get out the game is if you clear the game, and that's how everybody got out. And so it freaked out the whole world because it was all these kids getting into this game and couldn't get out. He made it so you couldn't log out. I mean, it got real fucking real. And it's like it started. If you tried to get out, tried to unplug yourself, it fried your brain. So once that shit start dropping and people really start playing around with and it's like you said, the Oculus shit, once it goes to that next level, once they get you immersed in that system, like Ready Player One, like look at what happened. I mean, people was making money off the game, the economics of everything shifted. I mean, it got to be a completely different environment because everybody was so logged into the game, no one gave a fuck. It's like that one movie, what was it? Not Symbiotes with Bruce Willis. I forget the name of it. Where people didn't come out their house. They basically logged into this world and they had robots running around pretending to be these people, and people just stayed at home.
What? And they have that. We don't say that name on the channel, but they got kids like that now.
Oh shit! I was like that in college. What you talking about, man? You probably don't remember, but man, I was on EverQuest.
I remember you was underneath the stairs.
I was underneath the stairs 12, 13 hours a day. No lie.
You had a computer room. You was in a closet. Yeah, I remember.
Man, I was living in that world. No lie. That character became my life. I remember when that nigga got killed. He was a race that was kill on sight in all these different places, and he got killed, and I lost all my gear. I was so hurt because I couldn't go back and get the gear. Fucking like 2 months worth of work. I had to restart a whole new character.
Hey Manu, have you heard of them using the ledger in video games now so that if you get gear in one game, you can carry it over to other games?
I wish. I haven't heard that yet.
They're already talking about it, but they're gonna put in crypto type technology into video games. That way, when you get a piece of
something about that.
Yeah, when you get an item in the game, you own it and you can transfer it over to another game. And I'm saying, really?
They're making it too easy. That's gonna. You know how much money that is? Because a lot of people don't like restarting games because of that. Like you get a new game, you restart, you gotta get all your shit, especially for like big games, right?
There was a game called Armored Core for PlayStation. I think this or on the latest PlayStation. Well, way back in the day when you still had disc, if you had the save file for Armored Core 1 and you started Armored Core 2 with that save file, you would get unlimited leg weight. So when you built your mech, you weren't limited as to what kind of equipment it could carry on its legs. You would get special weapons. And if you had the one for a save file from game 2, when you got to game 3, you got special perks when you started off.
That's some real shit. See, I can live with that. Shit, it's a game I'm playing right now that I done spent $300 on that ain't been out for 12 years. that they still working on.
And I believe the way that this happens is because the companies that own the things that are cool are shifting what's cool. So how do you get there? Because the kids who buy this don't buy the Jordans anymore. Jordan is making the same shoe from 20 years ago, so people understand like Nike and Jordan won't be the thing anymore. So how do I get that $300 out of your mom?
Hey, perfect. I've got a game for you to play. And there's this gun or this piece of gear or this suit for your character. You can either play for 300 hours or pay me $30 and get it right now.
Oh shit, that's the game I'm talking about. I don't know if y'all ain't heard this. It's the biggest game. It's the most crowdfunded game right now. It's I think they had like almost 400 million in backer support. It's a game called Star Citizen. It is the game that every nerd wants to play right now. I mean,
Star Citizen has its own economy, real economy, cash money economy.
They hate the fucking game because these motherfuckers making so much money off of it, selling virtual ships.
But they keep playing it.
But they keep paying, bro. They got a package of virtual ships that's $10,000.
Holy shit!
And it's probably sold out already.
I know people who got it.
Wow.
That's in my org. That's in my organization.
Wow.
No lie. I know people who got $3,000 spaceships for a game that kickstarted in 2012 and ain't out yet.
It's not out yet.
Fuck no, it ain't out yet. They ain't even got a release date. They got to the point where they done fucked up on so many release dates that they don't even try to say a release date no more. They like, you know what? Fuck it. And this year alone, they made $83 million in backing from selling spaceships, virtual spaceships.
So you can't play the game?
There's an
Well,
alpha
you
that's
can,
out right
but they
now.
just haven't released like the next iteration of it, like the next expansion pack on it.
It's not technically out. It's an alpha, is what they call it. Still work in progress.
And people love it that much that they
just go on YouTube and look up Star Citizen.
I'm bringing it up now. What the fuck you think?
Hey, Manu, in Star Citizen, didn't they have like one of the longest missions ever in a game? That they went to rescue a ship that ran out of fuel somewhere deep in space, inside of the game. It was like an 18-20 hour mission.
It's normal. Shit though, there's all kind of shit like that going around. Cause it's okay. So the size of the world is huge, right? It's a solar system, right? And really, it's gonna be multiple solar systems. So you could get on your ship, right, and fly from one planet to another planet, right? The distance between planets usually take you around 10-15 minutes to go from one planet to another, right? And then
how does it feel that this shit exists? Because I remember you dreamed about this shit when you was a kid. You told me about the different planets, video games, like that's fucked up.
Why you think these niggas got $300 of my money? Shit, I got me a ship when the shit released. I'm not gonna be like everybody else. It's like your homeboy just said. Would I rather spend all of this time trying to get the ship, or would I just want to give you $300? That way, when the game first start, I'm lit.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That made me think about T-Pain was on 85 South. He said he's friends with Mark Zuckerberg. He said him and Mark Zuckerberg text every day, all day. He said when the metaverse came out, he asked Mark Zuckerberg about buying property in the metaverse. He said Mark didn't text him back for 2 weeks. He said, "Blood, we text every day, 2-3 times a day. This is my real friend." And when I asked him about buying property in the metaverse, he didn't text me for 2 weeks. And I'm like, I didn't understand until you guys just had this conversation right now. I didn't understand what I watched when T-Pain was talking about buying property in the metaverse until this conversation and me looking at this game. Because before this conversation, I don't know about these video games. And when he was talking about buying property in the metaverse, I thought he sounded stupid. But now I understand. So he wants to buy property or planet in the metaverse, and then he'll be able to make money when people visit. He'll be like an Merovingian or in the Matrix, right? How do you say it? The
Merovingian.
He'll be like Merovingian, right? T-Pain would be like Merovingian, right? Like he'll buy a planet and make a fly ass T-Pain planet with like strippers and shit. You want to come here? You gotta. It's my world, even though it's in the metaverse. Mark Zuckerberg sold it to me, so it's mine. That's where we're headed. Is what you're saying, right?
It's coming. It's coming. And that's why I say look up Sword Art Online, because if you look at what they're trying to do with this VR, that's where everybody really wants VR to go. It's all of the Sword Art Online nerd people. They want to be able to have virtual MMOs where they can log in, be a part of the game, feel the game, have everything, feel the breeze, and it's basically what Neo was talking about in the Matrix.
If you could be Mario Vinci, why wouldn't you want to be him? Why wouldn't you want to be him? Right?
I mean, it's easy. They talked about that in the first Matrix. What really is real? Right? Because
so now a white boy was breaking down that scene and he was shitting on that scene, but I think he was really trolling, because now if you think about it, he said, why do you need that scene with the cake? It's 20 minutes, he said, and then they leave. Why do they even have that scene in the movie? Now I understand why they have the scene in the movie. Why do they have the scene in the movie? To ingratiate you to the character, to make you want to be able to have that power to make that cake, right? There's no other reason to have that scene in the movie but for you to fall in love with that character and one day want to be that character in the metaverse, to be able to make that cake and to make a woman come in the metaverse. But she gonna come in real life because she gonna have on the suit. Like,
well, it's about the control, right? I think the scene is really about a digital representation of really what is reality,
right?
And so what it's saying is that, and again, what people don't know, because people don't really study chemistry, they don't really study the body, is that your body is based off electrical impulses, right? So it's basically saying that I can manipulate your brain, manipulate everything about you just by putting the right electrical components and the right electrical inputs into your brain, and that's what he did to that lady.
That's why the fourth movie is shit.
I will link it to something, and people say y'all are crazy. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Cochlear implants work exactly in that fashion.
And fuck both of y'all with all this smart shit too. Just for the record, go ahead.
The cochlear implants are basically an external ear, and it bypasses whatever damaged nerves are inside of that ear, and it sends that electrical audio signal straight into the brain.
Straight to the brain.
If they can do that with sound,
what's next?
Maybe they'll do it with vision and with touch and with smell.
Oh yeah, all they gotta do is figure out what impulses drive what.
Once they're able to do that with the fart, it's over. It's over.
With the fart, this is my brother. Hey, they already got the 4DX movie theater, so I don't know if y'all got that where you at New, or if you got that son called, but in Sacramento, because there's only 30 of them in the country, but we got one in Sacramento. I love going to it too. So they got the D-Box, which is the 3D movie, and 4DX is the
I did that.
So 4DX is the latest one. So it's D-Box plus a physical. So there's huge fans on the ceiling of the movie theater, and there's water in the back of the seat kicks you. So
yeah, I've been there. I did that in New York one time.
Oh, you did the 4DX in New York. So if there's a storm, the wind is blowing. I saw the Hitchhikers. I saw the Bodyguard's wife with Samuel Jackson. That shit was funny. That was good. So they're shooting and fighting in the bar when they throw the drink, or when she spit on them.
Yeah, the wind kind of pops you in the back, so you can feel like the bullet. Yeah, the wind in it was dope. It's all right.
And the water spit on you. Water spits on you, and they got rain and 40X. So it's physical. So imagine that in like what you guys are saying. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And it's coming, man. It's like Altered Carbon, right? It's kind of all going down that same thing. That's exactly what Altered Carbon is talking about. I don't know if you've seen that on Netflix. That fucking movie, that's a good ass TV show.
Altered Carbon, nah.
You ain't seen Altered Carbon? Oh my god, man, you gotta see Altered Carbon. That's what I'm saying, man. There's a lot of shit out there for you, man.
I don't be watching TV, man. I'll be doing this. I'll be researching and reading for the show. so I don't be watching a lot of TV and shit, man.
So Altered Carbon is a show about a lady, a scientist, right, who wanted to, kind of like somebody like me, right? Her main goal was she wanted to travel to stars, right? And so you can't really travel to stars, right? The problem with the human beings is that human beings cannot really travel across the stars. You know, at least right now with our current understanding of how physics and everything work, right? The distances are just way too fucking long, right? Even if we go to Alpha Centauri, you know, or the closest star system, I think is like, what, 4 light years away or 2 light years away or something like that. And, you know, that's the amount of time that light travels in a year. And then the problem with that is that as you get closer to the speed of light, the time kind of changes, right? So what would be 2 light years to you may be actually 10, 15 years on to everybody else. So by the time you get back from Alpha Centauri, everybody's 30 or 40 years older, right? So what she came up with is this chip, right? Kind of like virtual reality, where you could download a person's consciousness onto this chip. Right, and so now you can travel those great distances because
the Neuralink, the neural uplink.
It's like a neural uplink. They download your consciousness into a chip, and so once your consciousness gets transferred into this chip, you technically become immortal. You can change out bodies, right? So you can put your chip in a different body. This is a TV show on Netflix. It's called Altered Carbon.
But they doing this for real, though. This is what Elon Musk is talking about, too, though.
This is all of that shit that you're talking about right now, about how, you know, the virtual reality and the metaverse and all of that stuff coming to pass. Eventually, what they're going to do is they're going to break down the code of the brain. And they're going to be able to say, okay, we can, they need a storage unit, right? Because right now you can't store everything that the brain holds, right, in a drive.
That's what the cloud is.
Yeah, but even still, the amount of
no one knows
necessary.
What the cloud is. That's what the cloud is. That's cloud technology.
And so that's what they did. They found some sort of material on another planet that allows them to store the human brain onto this small chip. And so eventually, if you start talking about all this VR stuff, that's where it could potentially lead to, is being able to download yourself into the cloud or into the system, right? But again, in the show, it starts to take away your humanity, because at that point you're immortal. It's just it's a slippery slope that all of these people is trying to travel down.
So what do you upload yourself into once you get downloaded into this chip? You upload yourself into what, a avatar?
No, you in the chip. If your chip get blown up, you dead. If your chip gets shot, that's the only way you really die. They called it stacked death.
They're just putting in another body. They'll just grow bodies like it's some kind of part.
That's what I'm saying. Are they putting a chip into like a fake body, like an avatar body? Like, what does the chip go in?
Any kind of body that you want. Whether you want to be man, you want to be female. They even had rich people who was taking people's chips and putting them in animals and carrying those animals around as pets.
Wow.
Right? So it's just they take your chip, put you into anything they want to put you into.
Wow.
Now, I want to go into a happy place.
Yep.
Wow.
Let's say the world turns to shit. They already showed you in Ready Player One. The world turns to shit.
All these situations,
you
the world
will
turns
want
to shit.
to be in that virtual reality world because the world is so shitty. We want to be in that world now, and the world ain't all that shitty.
Yeah, and the world ain't that shitty because you don't want to be around that
imagine if the whole world turned into a favela.
I mean, imagine if you can't go outside. If you go outside, you got to wear a mask, and you can't touch, and you can't feel, you can't do nothing. And only thing you can do is stay in the house. And then that's the only way these senses and dopamines get triggered is in a fucking game. Because they say you can't go outside no more.
And you playing these games because you want to thrill, but you don't understand what the thrill is of having a car and hunching in the back seat in a parking lot, not knowing whether you're going to get caught or not. That's the real thrill.
It's a real thrill.
And then remember, you guys said the game doesn't end, right? But what did we learn about this recent whistleblower? That's why they designed the games this way, because the anxiety triggers the dopamines. And what did we say, Sunclaw, when we break down the battle of the sexes? One of the things we found is about fear is akin to what? is the same thing. The same thing that scares a woman is the same chemical reaction that she's attracted to, and that's why they're attracted to the bad boys. So Facebook has figured out that same thing. That, and it reminds me of a movie. I can't remember it reminds me of one of our favorite movies. But Facebook basically figured out that what drives the clicks is anxiety and anger. So we stoke anxiety, we stoke anger, we stoke open-ended conversations to get you pissed off and to loop in the conversation with basically a robot that can never end and solve. That's what the game, when you guys were saying the game doesn't end, well, Facebook figured out that's what you want. This triggers more dopamines than crack.
Yeah, well, that's why they put you in. If you ever notice, everybody's Facebook is all designed around them and the people that, and the things that they like, and the things that they get adjusted to. They get nothing but people that support that. So now, when you go online and you're a Trump supporter, right, you get nothing but support for every post that you make, so you feel good about yourself. If you go online and you like the Cowboys, right, you just the algorithm reads you and starts sending you information from like-minded people. And so that's what's the problem with Facebook right now, is that it's not necessarily an argument between people or a conversation between this group and that group. It's more, I'm going to go on here and hear from the people that support me the most and make me feel the best to get me more inundated into my own visions or my own viewpoints, and then start to work with those separate people. So that's why you have so much problems in the world right now, because people are getting more indoctrinated into their thought, because the only people that they talk to are the algorithms putting them together with people who think the same way. So rather than you go listen to somebody else who thinks a different way and have an open conversation and be able to change the way you think, you're only talking to the people that think the way you think.
That affects
and then you go to it affects everything.
That affects the whole society. This is the group.
The whole society.
This is the group think that Kanye West was talking about. This is how everybody was made to hate Kanye West and to have.
And if I can curate my social media page, then why can't I curate society? Eliminate those things that I don't like. Just like I can mute somebody or block them from my page. How about we bring that into the real world? It sound familiar to anybody?
Every conversation you have with somebody, think about it. Because it always gets to this point.
Cancel culture is the physical embodiment of that. To where black men have actually been canceled. Their lives have been canceled. Their livelihood has been canceled or blocked. Just like you block someone on social media, black men have effectively been blocked from being fathers or being effective or being masculine, effectively been blocked. Cancel culture. White men can argue with me that they've effectively feel the same block, that they've been blocked from being, that's why you get January 6th, that they've been blocked from being masculine, head of household. Also, cancel culture. White men been demonized. They got to check their white privilege before they speak. They're in the same boat as the black men now. They've been canceled. Same way you block somebody on social media. So that's a very astute observation because it's happening already. And what you have is you have what we talked about before, where behavior begins to shift. Right? That's not abnormal. That's human, right? Men start behaving differently, right?
Behaviors drive results.
So now you can charge $5,000 to go to a Star Wars weekend. Because I made you stay in the house. I'm not going to use the word that starts with the I and ends with the L. We don't use that word. But I made you stay in the house. I've changed your behavior. I've changed your behavior. So now I can sell you a weekend for $5,000.
My homeboy, my homeboy Gavin, he says that shit all the time. He always like, look, the everything is designed to get the results that they want. So if you really believe that all this shit is just random and people aren't getting, the government or the system or whoever you think they is, if you don't think that all of this shit is specially curated for them to get the results they want, then you have no idea how none of this shit works. You think that people are just unhappy with shit. Like that shit is specifically it's like the interest rate when you buy a home, right? Or the interest rate, the par rate, or the investment rate. All of those things are specifically monitored and watched and adjusted to get the desired results that they want. Everything.
Manu, we talked about it before. I call it the puppy hugging machine. You put a puppy inside of the puppy hugging machine, the puppy comes out dead. You say, you know what? It's just a fluke. You put another puppy inside of the puppy hugging machine, it comes out dead again. You put the third puppy inside of the puppy hugging machine and the puppy comes out dead. Guess what? It's a puppy killing machine, not a puppy hugging machine.
It's not a puppy hugging machine. Stop putting your goddamn puppies in there.
Because guess what? You know what? I think this thing was designed to kill puppies for some reason.
You can't tell black women that, though. You can't tell black women that, though.
No, and people will argue with you. They will have whole conversations about how
wrong with the puppies. Black women think there's something wrong.
I think that you're wrong, and I think there's nobody who would design a machine that does that. And you're like, well, hold on.
And they see in the results of it too. They see in the thing at work.
I'm gonna keep sending my black male child to public school, irregardless of the result. I'm gonna keep sending my black male child to public school. If the one thing you can do if you love your black male child, just maybe, let's take a little chance. Maybe, I won't send him to public school.
Well, it's not even public school, right? It's more. Public schools in inner cities. Because, I mean, think about it. When we moved to Arizona, we went to public school, but a completely different sort of education.
Correct. Great public school. School.
Amazing public school. Right? It's just... So if you are an intelligent person from the inner city, you leave the inner city, right? and think about it. That was our problem with our parents, right? That was why we had issues with our parents. It's because you dumb motherfuckers want to love living in San Francisco so much that you're willing to sacrifice everything. Like I don't want to say this because it's horrible, but think of somebody in our family who made a decision to stay in a certain area and then it turned out to be negative, right? All because you love that area, you're willing to risk all of the outcomes, the potential probability that comes from you living in that area, making those decisions for your children. And then when it turns out bad, you're sad about it. Well, it's not really that you should be. I mean, it's sad that it happened, but the reality of it is,
it's mathematics.
It's 1 + 1 is 2. Right, like your homeboy said, you keep putting motherfucking puppies in that machine. You can't see, oh man, I'm gonna keep, maybe this time after the 14th millionth time.
I think you're wrong. I think you SoundCloud Manu, you wrong. It's not Chicago. It's not Chicago. It's not LA. It's not San Francisco. It's young black boys. It's young black boys, and they need to figure out.
You know what? Those puppies, all of those puppies were sickly. That's what it was. All of those puppies were sickly.
Because there are black boys who do make it out of Chicago and LA and San Francisco. There are Steph Currys. There are Michael Jordans.
Okay.
Why aren't
Let's keep it real though.
Why aren't all of
Think about it, bro.
Michael Jordan, Steph Currys?
Think about it, bro. How did we make it out? If you look at everybody that we know that made it out, right, that's doing well right now, most of them had some sort of interaction with somebody who made them a little bit different, right? Or they had a real major negative loss that curbed and changed the way they were. Because there's a lot of people that we know who never had that, right? Who never had a change, who never had somebody get into their life and start talking to them differently, right? And maybe instead of them seeing the loss of a loved one or a friend or something like that, they were that loss, right? They were that catalyst for other people, right? Because them other people saw what happened, and if you don't try to change your life, like there's a lot of young black men who get lost, and not just young black men, but young men in general from those sorts of situations who don't have a mentor, who don't have an abusive father that tries to beat the shit out of them to get the stuff out of them, who didn't lose their best friend from murder, right? Who didn't try to change. Like there's a lot of people who were the person who was murdered.
Yeah. I call it
right. Like
I call it father power. I say hashtag father power. That's what something that came out of, and I didn't even create that on purpose. Somebody heard it and repeated it back to me. I was like, damn, I said that. I was like, that sounds good. But it crystallizes what you were saying. What because that was taken away, that because it says so much when you hear it that people really haven't grasped it yet. But father power means so much. Like the father is important, but the father is powerful. And the father has not been powerful for a very long time. So I know people haven't really grasped onto it yet because they don't understand the concept of father, number one, because they call it baby daddy and daddy. You don't hear father used anymore. And then the concept of power being associated with the father of men, because nothing associated with men right now has any power or respect or honor associated with it. But what you're talking about is father power. And it's that male. Because what happened for me in this community that kept me going on this page is that it's that presence of a male who can be a mentor who's not trying to get something from you sexually or monetarily. And they haven't seen that in 40 years.
No, you never got that.
Yeah, they haven't seen that in a long time.
I mean, I know we don't talk about this a lot, but I mean, think about just your life before we left, right? Like you didn't have... I mean, any male figure that was in your life before we left to live in AZ wasn't necessarily the most positive person, right? And we went. It was a downward, and then you look at me, right? The only reason why I wasn't with you in a lot of those situations because I was with Uncle Mark. And for all the good or bad, Uncle Mark did or, have his problems, at least in my life, it was a lot of things that I felt like he kept me away from because I had somebody like that. Now, it was sad that I had to go seek that out, someplace else. But then when we got to Arizona, then it was over. It was too much, right? It was like, it was like, yeah, we had some situation, but we had somebody who was trying to change a lot of bad behaviors, but he didn't have the education to be supportive. He didn't know how to deal with that stuff, and so it turned into a level of abuse. But there's so many situations like that I've just looked at in my life where
if you follow that thought for Dennis, I still don't get what you got for a long time or ever.
Yeah.
I have to laugh. Facts. I have to laugh, but it's not funny. But you laugh at your pain. But if you really follow that train of thought, I never got with that thing. So yeah.
No, and that's facts.
But now it full circle now with this podcast now,
that environmental effect. People, I had to bring something up. I think it was a long while back about Vietnam. A lot of the guys who were over there in the war, they were on drugs. They were hopped up.
Oh man.
They were flying sky high.
Yeah. That's why the
Snoop Dogg didn't have shit on them. Guess what happened when they came back home? They didn't touch the shit again. They were just using the stuff because they were in that environment. Once they were no longer in that environment, they didn't feel the need to continue using the stuff. It was a really high percentage of those soldiers that were overseas that were hooked on smack. The military had a policy. We're not going to let you return until you let go of that stuff, until you're clean. That's how bad the problem was. They would not return them to the United States until they were clean. So sometimes you're doing things or sometimes things are happening to you. And sometimes you got to leave that place because it ain't anything that you can do about it. It's just a property of that particular place. There's certain neighborhoods that have been bad for 100 years. And guess what? The people ain't the same. It was bad when the Irish were there. It was bad when the Italians were there. It was bad when the blacks and the Puerto Ricans and the Hispanics moved in there. Guess what they all had in common? The place.
The place. That's why I hate when people talk about Chicago. Oh, this is Chicago. I'm like, shit, what the fuck are you talking about? Chicago been bad forever.
Gotham. It's Gotham. It's Gotham.
Shit.
It's
Now
Gotham. It's Gotham.
You know what I'm saying? How many motherfucking shootouts and, you know what I'm saying, St. Valentine's Day massacred and that. I mean, it's just, and now you act like, oh, it's just something new.
That stuff happened 70, 80 years ago, and we're still talking about it to this day. That's how legendary that violence was.
You know what I'm saying? You just get up and you get the fuck out.
And those same people moved out into the suburbs, and they don't have those issues anymore.
Don't have it. I mean, shit. I mean, quiet as kept. That's why we left. I mean, I had a lot of reasons why we left California, but the main reason was that Manasseh was getting in fights every day. He had started getting into that Fairfield shit. People, Manasseh wasn't big. He didn't get big until he, got to be 18. Like, now I'm nigga huge. But he was getting into a lot of shit. And me and Sarah was just like, you know what? It ain't worth it. Right? We don't want to raise our kids around this. We don't want him getting in, struggling and having all that shit. And like your boy just said, as soon as you change the area, you're like, oh shit, hold on a minute. We living good. We eat steaks and scripts. We ain't trying to have none of that gangster stuff.
Where you going home? Because Craig changed the environment. Craig changed the environment. Before you came, we was cool. You was an environmental change. It's like bringing a pit bull, into a certain, like, you can't be here. You gotta go back home. That's what Uncle Mark did with me. I was Craig. When you going home? You know what I'm saying? Because you changing the environment. You know what I'm saying? That's real shit.
You bringing shit with you.
You bringing shit with you. You bringing shit with you, man. When you going home? You know what I'm saying? We living good.
When you leave, I got to live here.
Yeah, so I couldn't come over nobody's house. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that asking questions and shit. Kids don't talk back, and there are no inquisitive children over here, Dennis. So all them questions and shit. Say that shit. Shit.
I remember in Arizona, I could never figure that shit out. Like you and Pops would always go back and forth. Like you asking, and I'm like, nigga, if you don't shit, if you don't just let him, don't be asking him no questions. I'm trying to go hoop.
48 laws of power. I never learned the 48 laws of power, man. Don't outshine the master, man. Don't. God damn. Hey, cause we both was Leos. In there.
Yeah, y'all niggas used to get into it, and then you would try to make an argument. And the worst part, the part when you get in the most trouble, is when you actually made a valid argument. Like I remember one time when he was telling you to clean up, and there was some shoes on the ground, and you was like, "Well, those ain't my shoes." And you like, "I didn't clean up everything in here, and your shoes are sitting here when your room is locked." Where do you like? And now that you're an adult, you would ask the logical question, like, where do you really want me to do with your shoes when I can't put them in your room? Right? Like, I'm completely lost. I might as well just leave the motherfuckers here. No, that's too much logic. And I just walked away. I was like, oh, you know what? I don't know. Because all this shit just making too much sense. Y'all, and then he went the fuck off, and it's too much questions.
You know what? That kind of stuff bothers me. That's when somebody says, "Well, you're technically correct." What other kind of correct is there except technically correct?
Is there a different version of correct that I need to be, motherfucker?
Check this out. Check out my sermon. So I preached on my sermon this weekend on Sunday. I said, how do you thank someone for something when you can't repay them back? And then it made me think, to help people understand my point is, how does a son thank a father, right? How does a son, or if you look at about the relationship between the earth and the sun, or a human and God, that relationship, but how do you thank someone for something that you can't pay back? And how does a son thank a father? With honor, respect, and obedience. And I was missing that lesson because I grew up with mom, and I didn't know how to show honor, respect, and obedience in order to be thankful for the relationship with pops. Like now, I'm hella grateful for the relationship because I realized, like you said, how many men didn't make it out of where we came from because not having that relationship. And what he needed was for me to appreciate that and or to be aware of that, and I wasn't. And the only way you can do that is via your obedience, honor, and respect. And that's a big thing because there's no way a son can pay back a father. There's no way we can pay back the son for providing us life. The son gives us life. That's why we were son worshipers. That's why they call us people of the sun. And when you say worship has a negative connotation, but it made sense. It was logical for us to be obedient and to show respect and honor for the sun. The sun never missed. The sun comes up and down every day. The sun provides us life. As black melanated people in Africa, like roses, God put us in a place where we can get the most sun. It makes sense that we would show respect, honor, and obedience from the sun. It didn't make sense to take us away from that respect, honor, and obedience of the sun. So how do you say thank you? So when you tell that story, like I did have an issue with that lack of understanding of being able to understand that relationship between me and my father, and why obedience is so important for the son. Why that obedience?
Well, it's a flip side to that coin too, because the problem that and I think me and Dad, I think I talked to Uncle Mark or I talked to Manasseh about this a few times, right? About breaking the cycles of abuse, because the truth is that as a father, it's your job to teach your son those. And so at some point, I think our father just didn't have the education or the knowledge to be able to explain that lesson. And it was one of those lessons that you had to learn on your own, rather than whereas, our kids, we could have that conversation and teach them that lesson. So that way you don't have all of the animosity and the going back and forth, because it's more of an educational standpoint than it is, like him just trying to beat it into us. It's what I say because it's what I say. Like there's a better way to teach that lesson than
it may not be an educational thing because people on the replay might think our father's not intelligent. Our father is
super smart.
Highly intelligent. It's one thing that it's a perspective, right? Because our father was raised by a slave. So that's the different thing.
Well, no, I mean, when I say education, I mean think about it more like the progression.
That's another form of education, though. That's another form of education.
Yeah, it's a progression, right? It's more like when you talk about base level math, right? If we're talking about multiplication, addition, and subtraction, and then we start moving into calculus and string theories and advanced electronics, there's just a different level of education.
And so although this is the thing, they both work.
They both work. I mean, it's all based off the same stuff.
They both work.
What you learn in therapy is that there's ways to deal with that thing.
Right. I still got a blunt object, and I didn't have to be a blunt object.
Yeah. There was a way to teach that to a child. There's a way to evolve that relationship.
And the slave didn't have that knowledge. The slave didn't.
No, it's really hard. And even though he was on the precipice of understanding that, just because there were some things that were missing, it's mathematics. It's like it's the puppy hugging machine, right? No matter what, that was meant to happen. It was no other way that it could have happened because you didn't have that next level of understanding.
That was the plantation. The plantation was the puppy hugging machine. That was the plantation, and that was the style in which a lot of us, that's my book. The difference between the crack kid and the crack baby is that plantation upbringing and that understanding of the plantation. That's what get missed. We got raised by people who was raised by slaves. We got raised by people who were raised by slaves. So it was a different perspective and a different understanding on how to accomplish things. And there was a rebellion by the baby boomers against that style of child rearing. They rebelled, but they didn't replace it. So the race of the bottom says you replace the current standard with the substandard, and that becomes the new normal. So the baby boomers agree with your philosophy, Nu. They agree. Doesn't have to be a blunt object. But the baby boomers didn't replace it with the better mechanism.
No.
They left it wide open. So
well, then, you know, there was a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues in that generation with trust. And again, you can see it, right? You know, the idea of mental health and mental therapy and just well-being in that generation, especially from our culture, just didn't really happen, which is why you have so many people in our culture dying right now, you know, in their 60s and you know, poor health, you know, not taking care of themselves, you know, just a lot of things that we were taught or they just kind of rebelled against. Because again, you're talking about a generation of people who came back from the war, who couldn't ride on buses, who fought the civil rights movement. You know, there was a lot of mistrust in those people in terms of society. I mean, I had this conversation with a white guy about the difference between when I say about white privilege and what white privilege actually means to me, and he didn't get it. He was like, there's no such thing as white privilege. I said, let me explain to you what white privilege is. White privilege is when your grandfather tells you as a 12-year-old kid to never put money into a bank because those banks are going to take your money and you'll never be able to have anything. If you ever want to have anything as a man, you keep your money to yourself. That's white privilege, right? Because what that really does is that teaches you how not to evolve your credit. That teach you how to not be able to invest. That teaches you how to mistrust the entire country, right? That's a privilege that you, and when I explained that to him, he was like, man, I never heard anybody say anything like that. I said, yeah, because what you've heard white privilege is something completely different than what it is because you keep talking to fucking morons, right?
And Manu, the therapy front of it too. Don't be telling people your business. Don't be telling people our business because in order to get over some of these issues, you got to be talking about our issues, the issues you had with your parents. But what you going to a therapist for? You're going to be telling them our business.
Shit, Pops used to get mad at us for opening the window. Nigga, what you got the window open for? Don't be letting people see in this house. I'm like that to this day. I see her come home, she opened up the windows.
My grandfather. My grandfather's from the islands. And he told me this. If somebody's going to steal from you, it's somebody who's already been inside of your house because they know what you got.
Right.
Exactly. Teach you distrust.
They know what you got and where you got it. So that means you distrust people who you would have to come to your home.
Nobody's coming to your house. Think about that. And how does that play out in your life now when somebody come knock on your door?
I might meet them at the door with Roscoe. I'll crack the door open and look, and Roscoe is sitting over there on the other side of the door.
And guess what? We do this in relationships. And this is why the Perfume song says, why don't we remarry? We do the same thing in our relationships and our friendships. When our counterparts, they get remarried. They don't kill their ex-wife. They can deal with it. Oh, the bitch cheated, the bitch left, fuck that bitch, and get remarried 2-3 more times. But why do we have to go into violence and all? What you're speaking to is our inability to deal with these things. He said, why did Trump get married all these times? And why did Trump marry and become a president when he married a Playboy model? He didn't care what anyone thought. Like, we get bogged down in if someone says our wife is overweight or if she's a single mother. Trump married a Playboy model and probably a professional escort as a billionaire and soon to be president. And we have all these hangups. We don't marry who we might be attracted to because what people might think. And then if it doesn't work out, we have an inability to move on or an inability to leave. Go ahead, bro. What you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, just people broke. That's what happens when you break people. You know, when you have a whole country that started off from breaking people, right? A whole world that's been just taught to break, right? You just broke. Matter of fact, what's even worse, if you really start talking about the broke theory, you got probably what? I don't know. It's not really 85%, but you got a vast majority of people whose religious beliefs are are really circled around the idea that you are inherently broken. Right? We are sinners. We are made to. You are born to be sinners.
You're born in sin. You're born in iniquity.
And here's the worst part. How could you ever believe that and then also believe in God? The two are completely contradictory.
Not only are you born into sin, but you are born to live a life of sin, and the only way to be devout of sin is to what? You gotta be born again. You gotta die. You gotta die.
But then you believe in this all-knowing, all-powerful, omnipotent being who created you, but created you to be flawed? He created you to be broken? You're not fucking broken. It's like what Yoda used to say, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. Right? Right? The problem is that you don't believe that you are great, that you are unique, that you are special, and you believe that you were born in sin, so you act as if your whole life like you are a sinner.
We call it the Perfect Man Show. We call it the Journey to Apothos.
But I think it's something important to kind of focus on that, because we fuck up. I fuck up. Yeah. We've all fucked up. We're broken sometimes. That born again part is when you fix that brokenness. So you can't change and you can't improve until you fix that brokenness.
Until you stop believing that you are broken. You may be flawed.
Until you stop being.
It's one thing to be flawed. It's one thing to be human. It's one thing to make errors and to fail. Right? That has nothing to do with you being inherently broken.
No, because being inherently broken means that you can never fix it.
Yeah, what it does is it gives you the ability to accept you're broken. Oh, you know what? I'm sin. I'm a sinner.
Victimhood. This is victim.
Right.
If I'm broken, I get to stay a victim, and I get to wallow in my
I
shit.
get excuses.
Victimhood.
I get excuses.
I need help. I need welfare. I need child support because I'm broken, even though I'm the most educated, I'm the most higher, I'm the most loved, most rewarded. Black woman feel broken. There's a video with another black woman saying we're not protected. Why can she get on there with all of her blessings and say I'm not protected and say I need protection? Because she is living in the pool of brokenness. She's a war. It's an award.
Well, that's what you taught. You need. What do you need? You need Jesus. I need God. I need to be able to put all of this stuff off on my Creator because it's bigger than me.
I don't have the power to do anything for myself.
I don't have the power. But your Creator then gave you all the power in the universe.
Right, and this is what we said.
At your fingertips.
Look, this is what we said. This is what we said about the analogy about the table. But everybody else is in this restaurant enjoying their meal. Everyone else, yet while we have this difficulty or this malfunction, everyone else in the restaurant is enjoying their meal. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It's fucked up because we think we having this conversation alone in the shack somewhere, and we so blinded. We like a horse with the blinders on. We don't realize we in a banquet hall and everyone is enjoying their fucking meal. They're not even looking at us anymore because it's not even entertaining to see the idiots. We just enjoy.
You're not even relevant. Yep.
Everyone else understands that you need to have a nourishing, balanced plate in order to live out this life and enjoy your meal. And we are arguing with the fucking waiter. We're arguing with the fucking waiter. And what Sunclaw said, as I thought I was being a genius with this concept, he said, you know what perfect is happening too? I was like, what? He said, your children are not being fed a nourishing meal. If you can't figure out how to place an order and get a nourishing meal on the fucking table, then what your children eat? And that's why we got all these broken fucking people. And I'm like, damn, Sunclaw, I thought I was being smart. If you can't put together this basic 4 food groups, and she can't put together these basic 4 food groups, and y'all can't come together and have this meal, then the children have fucking rotten teeth, fucking fucked up bodies and circulation, unable to make good decisions, fucking broken people.
It's facts.
It's important that we understand that part of when they say, what do you bring to the table? It's about being able to understand how to prepare a nourishing meal for each individual in their relationship, where it doesn't matter gender, irrespective of gender, sex, age. You got to be able to prepare a meal for yourself that is nourishing and fulfilling. And then we could have a slice out of life. Motherfuckers is missing the shit, bro. And the thing that Facebook figured out is that people like when I explain it, it sounds good, right? Because I got a gift. That's my gift. But you know what Facebook figured out, nigga? It's like if you go to like Nino Brown or some shit, like, nigga, fuck you. Nigga, they like this. They like the arguing with the waiter, nigga. That's what Facebook figured out. You think everybody wants to enjoy a meal perfect. That's not what the fuck they want. That's what been my fight my whole life. I think, and me and you both, you two sucker, we think people want the most logical conclusion. You know what Facebook figured out? Well, guess what? Even though it sounds so Disney, everybody don't want to sit down and enjoy their meal. That's not what makes them get the most reaction. When I get the most reaction out of people, because what did they say about the Matrix? Going back to the Matrix 4, what did they say about the Matrix? They designed it. They designed it perfect. They designed it perfect, literally perfect. My name is perfect. They designed the Matrix perfect, where all the black women and all the black men understood how to make a basic meal and sit down, and guess what? It didn't work. That's what Mark Zuckerberg figured out. It didn't work. They had to put the shit in the game. They had.
Hey, bro, let me jump off this phone. I'm gonna go spend some time with the wife.
All right, bro. I love you.
All right, I love y'all. Take it easy, man.
It's nice talking to you, Manu.
Salute.
All right, bro.
When they designed the Matrix, perfect, it didn't work. So
that's because people didn't like not having any strife and not having any difficulty. They weren't satisfied by that.
So Facebook really is the Matrix. And even if we want to put Mark Zuckerberg on Capitol Hill, we don't want that. It's in the movies. Even if we want to put Mark Zuckerberg on Capitol Hill, you don't want me to design a utopia. I would go out of business. I'm giving you what you want, i.e. Grandmaster Troll. I'm giving you what you want.
Perfect. I think you remember I had linked something called The Story of the Bees. And it was basically telling a story on how vice, on how all these bad habits in society actually make the world turn. If people didn't have vanity, you wouldn't be able to sell clothes, to sell fancy cars. If people didn't have vices like drinking, you wouldn't have any beer companies. If people didn't enjoy eating and overeating, you wouldn't have these food companies sprouting up and making a profit off of that.
Fornication, the addiction to sex is what drives television and marketing and commercials.
Yeah. So all of these bad habits that we have makes money.
Right.
Oh, you're not satisfied. You already have a car, but I have a better car, a flashier car, a shinier car. Ooh. The car you have still works and does exactly what you need it to do. But this one is better because it's more. And you go and spend because you want that vanity to be fulfilled. You want people to think that you're the greatest because you have this new fancy shiny car. So you go and you buy it, and somebody makes money off of your vanity. Your shoes are beautiful. You got Jordans, and you've always taken care of your Jordans. But that's not the best Jordan. Jordan came out with some new Jordans, exactly like yours. But they changed the color of the thread that they used to sew the shoes together. And yours ain't the newest, and yours ain't the greatest. So you're lesser than the people who are able to get the latest and the greatest because they have the new thread color on their shoes and you don't. You're not as good as they are unless you buy these shoes. I'm not saying that because I'm going to be making money off of you. But I'm saying that because I want to make more money off of you and off of your vanity.
I want to be like Mike.
Did you see him in the club? Did you see the color of the thread in his shoes? He must be poor. That's what your friends are going to say to you if you don't buy these new Jordans.
Mm-hmm.
You must be on hard times because you can't afford the white Jordans with the black stitching on them. You still have the old school white stitching on your Jordans. And then when you get rid of your Jordans with the white stitching, you know what's going to come back into fashion? Jordan with the white stitching. But now they're throwbacks.
Starbelly sneakers. Well, shit, Son Claude, I'm going to get out of here, man. I could hear my brother yawning, and I could hear the kids getting out the car.
All right.
I'm going to help
y'all have a Merry Christmas while it lasts over there on the East Coast. Over here on the West Coast. Over here on the East Coast, Christmas has been over.
What's up,
for
buddy?
about 30 minutes.
Hey, Christmas been over for 30 minutes, Son Claude said.
Oh, it's Christmas every day.
And Manu got off too, so everybody tired. I'm going to shut it down.
All right.
Merry Christmas, bro. I love you.
Y'all have a good evening and take care.
Miss Son Claude.
And Merry Christmas.
The dog said Merry Christmas. Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. Y'all have a good Christmas. 5.0.
I don't get this stuff out the car.